What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you with another one, and this one is House of the Dragon Season 2 predictions and theories. Listen, straight up, right from the back, we talking about it all, everything. So if you don't want to hear anything about it, then this is not the stream for you. We're going to talk about everything that we think we're going to see in Season 2. We're also going to try to break it down by the episode, right? We're going to do this live on stream. We didn't practice this or nothing. We're going to try to see if we can figure this out. But I am joined by the one, the only usual suspect member of Kaiser Sose, Bridge 4. What's going on?
What's happening? Yeah, so to be clear, everybody, we're sort of focusing on Season 2, predictions based off of what we know from the books, but we may speak about anything in any of the books. So this is a full spoiler stream, potentially.
100% spoiler stream. 100%. So if you're not down with that, let me know. We're waiting on Phil. Phil's going to join us. Hopefully he does. And he's got the link and everything, but we just don't know. They know his schedule and everything else. We wanted to get that and everything else. But before we do that, let's go to this picture. I just dropped the video. It was released today. If you could check out my video, please do. No one watched it anyway, but hopefully some of y'all will go out there and watch it. But they released a picture of Rhaenyra's baby that died in childbirth. I did a video on it. Bridge didn't see it before. Let me bring the picture up for you real quick so you can see it. All right. Is it showing, Bridge?
Oh, yeah, it's showing. That is gross.
All right.
Ew.
So this is what Rhaenyra gave birth to. This is a prosthetic that the person who made the prosthetic released. This is it. This is what came out of her body. Now, it's been long rumored that the Targaryens have had half dragon babies, right? And from this, I think, Bridge, we could say that this is a half dragon baby, right?
Yeah, 100%. There's something messed up with that. It's got like scales on it. It'd be interesting to see if they showed a full body picture. It would have been cool if it had like little rudimentary wings or
We
a
do have
little tail.
another picture right here, back shot.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, so it's not a human baby. It's not entirely a human baby, that's for sure. Throughout the history, there have been several people, like Lena Valorian, actually, when she gave birth in the books, her baby was a dragon baby. Supposedly, Daenerys Stormborn in the future, 150 years later, her baby was. Now, I get confused. It's at least two of the girls during Maegor the Cruel's time. Eleanor Costain, Alice Haraway, Jane Westling, two of them, they also were rumored to have monstrosities. And the question is, like, what causes that? Like, at the time, Tyanna of the Tower said that she was poisoning them. It's like, did the poison cause that? With someone like Daenerys, we get inside her head. So we sort of, it's like she almost made a conscious decision to trade her life for the lives of her eggs. So it's like almost like she did some blood magic in one of her fever dreams as she was suffering there. And something like that may have happened with Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's going through, like, all of a sudden she finds out that her father's dead and Aegon's taking the throne, and she just goes into like dragon mode meaning like I don't want to say crazy mode, but until like she gets all riled up. Like maybe she did some sort of blood magic and that actually just changed the baby into this dragon, or was it growing like this the entire time? I guess that's the big question.
Yeah, so a lot of people speculated that the Targaryens, the Valyrians themselves, let's not say Targaryens, but straight Valyrians, performed some type of blood magic to some type of fusing their blood with dragon blood, right? Giving themselves dragon DNA back in the day. And this is the reason why they are able to ride dragons. And this is why they say that they're the blood of the dragon. Now, I know a lot of people, see, the whole thing is that when you hear them say they're blood of the dragon, you hear other people in Westeros, like the Starks, say they're blood of the wolf. They don't really say they're blood of the wolf, but they consider themselves wolves. And other people consider themselves other animals. So you start thinking, oh, the Targaryens are just really referring to sigil. But no, they really are saying that their blood is that of a dragon, that somehow they have the same blood of a dragon in them. And if that is the case, then at some point you could see that a baby will come out there. Now, it was rumored that Tyrion Lannister, when he was born, that he had a tail. And that's what led to a lot of people to think that he's the Mad King's Aerys kid. And that's the way he came. And that's the reason why he came out like that. So it definitely doesn't take two Targaryens to get a baby like this. It just takes one Targaryen to get a baby like this. But as you said, Mirren Master, there was a different situation there because she went into the tent when Mirren Master told her not to.
Yep.
Right? And it could have been something while she went into that tent that caused her baby to do it. But it seems that every time somehow when they give premature birth, most times it happens. So maybe the baby develops when it's in there, it starts off like this, and then over time it goes away and turns to a normal human baby.
Yeah, I personally think with like Dany, I'm pretty sure when she started going into labor, before she went into the tent, she felt something cutting at her. I think that it happened. Like, I'm more of the, I don't agree with most of the fans. I don't think that Targaryen or Valyrian blood is even special. I just think that blood magic was performed. There's one underlying concept for all magic in this story, whether it's warging or dragon bonding or green sight, all type of dragon, all type of magic. It's only death can pay for life. Like even Thoros Amir, when he was raising up Beric Dondarrion, he attributed it to a god that doesn't exist. But he was giving up like his own life fire, he was giving up some of his own life to raise Beric Dondarrion, the same way that Stannis Baratheon was giving up some of his own life to create those shadow babies. So like there's one, for me, I know most fans don't agree with this, even hardcore fans, but one magic underlying all magic is that only death can pay for life. So I sort of lean towards the idea that the way that dragon eggs are given life are through the sacrifice of unborn babies. Yeah. So that's where I stand. I don't think it comes down to Valyrian blood. I think it's just about people's connection to like having dragon eggs around and their bond with dragons, and they're unknowingly performing blood magic and sacrificing children unbeknownst
Yeah.
to themselves.
Yeah, I
Crazy.
think that I think that all magic that we see in this book is all derived from one source. And I think that's blood magic.
Blood
I think
magic.
no
Yeah.
matter what you see, whether it's the red god or anywhere, it's all derived from the children of the forest. It's all blood magic. And you could see that, especially with the children of the forest, when they were these evil bastards, when they would hang entrails and body parts in the trees and everything, and basically do blood sacrifices. And that goes back to Yig, who was the first children of the forest green seer, who people said that he would eat the body parts, he would eat men when it was a living tree, when it truly wasn't a living tree. It was just a children of the forest skin changer walked into the tree, and they would put body parts into the mouth, and that would be blood magic. And I think that's what happened. The ritual stopped. And I think that's why the children of the forest themselves died off more than anything, is because people stopped doing those blood magic sacrifices to these weirwood trees. And that's the reason why the last Green Sea of Blood Raven power isn't as strong as it used to be. Back in the day when they were doing it all the time, he had all the power, but as the sacrifices stopped, his power went away. So I believe that the Targaryens, being somewhat scientists and somewhat magical, did fuse their bloods with these dragons, and that is the reason why they have the ability to, me personally, to ride these dragons. But obviously, you can see there's green scales all over this baby. It has no nose. Its cheeks are sunken, like it's on heroin. And the back, you could see straight here. The head is pointy, and there is definitely a dragon scale on the spine. Is definitely dragon scale. It looks like a dinosaur.
Imagine what would Miss Soria say if she saw this child? Would she be like, I love children, but burn that little monster?
You gotta burn it. Now, some people have said that it looks like grayscale on the baby.
I mean, it does look similar, but there are just similarities between grayscale and dragon scale. But based on what we know from the books, the fact that like Dany had a dragon baby with like wings or allegedly had a dragon baby and other ones in the past, I don't think this is grayscale. I think it's just it's partially dragon. It's like
Yeah,
a
and
hybrid.
still, and when they showed her in the House of the Undying, they showed her with her baby. The baby looked regular.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Rhaego.
It wasn't a dragon baby. It looked regular when it was in the House of the Undying. But Mirror Mask does said it was born with wings and everything else. So we just don't know who to believe in that situation.
Yeah, it was more than her though. It was so I think Sojora, take this with a grain of salt, everybody listening, but I'm pretty sure Sojora was the one that told Dany, and it was more than just like Miri confirmed it, but it was also I believe that some of the handwives, like not Jiri, some of the other women there, like Danny's girls, some of them confirmed it as well. I could probably find the quote, but I'm pretty
Hey,
sure
thank
about
you,
that.
Fernandez T, for becoming a member. I'm sorry when I'm showing that picture for some
Monster.
reason I can't see what's going on in the chat and everything else right then. So I do see it now. Thank you, Fernandez T, my brother, for becoming a member. If you're interested in becoming a member, I am going to start doing exclusive giveaways for members and everything else. Let me say what up to a couple of people in the chat while Bridge looks that up. What up to the beautiful Carla Way in the building, all the way from Australia. Good day, mate. What up to Lady Starfor, who's in the building rocking with us? What up to Lady Starfor hit it twice. Thank you for the super chat. Jenna S. I appreciate it so much. Saw a post that all Targaryens features start as dragons and turn to human gestations. I just said that. People just
But so Danny, during like after this whole thing goes down, she's like, "What happened?" Like I could feel it in the past kicking. Like she could feel its feet, and it wasn't until that crazy moment as Miri's singing in the tent that all of a sudden there weren't like nice human feet kicking her. It felt like a knife was scraping her. So it seemed like, for me, the way I interpret it is that something changed like in that moment. And
yeah,
yeah, just to confirm, Jorah says, she's like, tell me what the women say. And so he keeps saying that the women say, implying the other women that were around her in the tent. And that's when Miri Marge's door came in and she answered the question. She goes, monstrous.
nice. What up to LMR? She was going to join us, but she can't right now. But me and LMR, we're doing the peripheral starting tomorrow. I don't know if she'll be there tomorrow, but I'll be there tomorrow doing the first peripheral live stream. We'll do it every week. So if you're into that show, the peripheral is a really good show. Make sure you check that out. And Kev and me, we're going to do the White Lotus to see if we get Phil in there. We'll start that next week too. We'll do the White Lotus. I think there's only going to be 6 episodes of the White Lotus, so it'll be quick.
I think seven episodes this season, 6 last season.
So if you're into the White Lotus, we're going to be doing predictions of who we think died, who is the person that the bodies that I think I already know. I think I really got it right. Thank you, Jenna. I was being cheeky trying to give you credit. No, thank you, Jenna. I know. I caught that. I was just playing. I was just saying it. But thank you for the super chat, darling. Truly appreciate it. And we got a new subscriber, Jumilia Thurman. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I truly appreciate that. We love to have new people. Welcome to the family.
So since this is a spoiler stream, I can dive into another question then.
Yes.
So if you're one of the, and I would say, I'm not trying to like single you out. I think the majority of the fandom believes that only Valyrians can ride dragons. I don't believe that. So you're under the impression that Nettles has Valyrian blood, or?
No, I don't believe that only Valyrians can ride dragons. I think that it's easier for them to bond with dragons. I think that if you coax a dragon and you make it like somewhat of a pettish type situation, that you can have the ability to ride it. But I do think that somehow the dragons do view them as kinfolk somehow, like they can smell their blood and know their blood, and that's why it's easier for them to do so.
Yeah. I just find it so. I know the authors, like, they write stories that are independent of who they are and their own like social and political beliefs. But I just find it really hard pressed to believe that George R. R. Martin would create this beautiful blonde-haired race of humans and they would actually be special. So I know that's like, because I know that in real life he wouldn't think that way. And does that translate into the books? Not necessarily, but that's just my personal belief. I just don't like. It's more about causation and correlation. It's like, why didn't the Starks ever bond dragons? They never had any dragon eggs. Same with, and that goes for most houses.
Yeah, well, I think one of them would have been, but dealing with these lizard babies real quick.
Yeah.
Don't you think one of them would have had to live at least one time? I mean, out of all these Valyrians did it all die? None of them survived? Not one of these lizard babies have survived at all, which is crazy to me. You would think that they would be some, maybe they're the squishers. Maybe the squishers are the Targaryen people that are lizard babies and they're exiled or something like that. I would think that some of them would have had to make it. Not all of them would have had to be like that.
I'm trying to look
too many of them. As for Phil, someone was asking about Phil. Hopefully Phil comes. Obviously Phil's always invited. He has the link and everything. I don't know what he's up to, but hopefully he'll be here.
So in terms of so the first 3, I kept in my head saying that it was 2 of Maegor's wives. It's actually 3 of them: Eleanor Custane, Alice Haraway, and Jane Westling. So all 3 of them. I just skimmed my notes on them real quick, and I don't think we have proof of their dragon babies living. But Lena Velarion's, in the books at least, it's rumored that her babe was twisted and malformed and died within the hour. So that means that it lived for an hour, even though it was a twisted and malformed baby. Granted, hers does not mention in detail like the wings and the rudimentary wings and scales and stuff like that. But I've always interpreted her child as being similar to their children. So maybe I'm wrong in that.
Yeah, I would just think that some way and everything else like that. Pete Easy says the Maesters wouldn't care for them. And everything else. Is LML coming too? Not that I know of. I mean, if he wanted to, they're always welcome to join. And I know he has a lot to say about the topic, and he's always willing. I have certain people that are always willing to join. All you got to do is ask, and they can get the link sent to them. Thank you again, Jen S, for another super chat. It says, maybe some of the Targaryens that went mad hadn't fully turned human in the womb. Maybe those are dragon babies that survive. That is very interesting. Could it be that they are inside of them is that dragon gene that they survived, and that is the reason why they went gone mad, because they can't deal with it instead of this them going mad? What do you think about that, Bridge?
I think some people just go mad. Like Aryan Brightflame, he thinks he's a dragon. He's like, oh, I'm gonna drink some wildfire, and he died because he's a punk.
Yeah, well, that was crazy that he drank the wildfire. He should have done that. But he was right. He is a dragon. He thought that the wildfire would turn him physically into, like, he could transform into a dragon. Now, he's not 100% wrong, because the children of the forest were beings. So you can say their body may not physically change, but they do become these other creatures. So maybe he was thinking that in some weird warging situation, that this is what happens, that the person actually changes into that creature instead of warging that creature. And he thought that was it. Why he thought that the wildfire would do it, I don't know why he thought the wildfire itself would. I don't know why he thought wildfire, I'm going to drink this and I'm going to turn me into a dragon. I don't know. It could have been a message from the children of the forest to get him to do it and put in his head, you know what I mean, and manipulate him. People are asking, what about Tyrion? What do you feel about Tyrion? Do you think, first let's ask this question, do you think Tyrion is Tywin Lannister's kid?
Yes, 100%.
All right. So you
I
don't
don't think Jaime and Cersei are Tywin Lannister's child.
So you don't think that you think both twins too are Tywin Lannister's child? Jaime?
No,
and
I think the twins are Mad King Aerys' child.
All right, so you think that the Mad King's children are Jaime and Cersei, and Tyrion is Tywin's kid?
Yeah.
All right. So by believing that, I'll have to say that you don't believe that Tyrion was born with a tail or anything like that. That was just a rumor.
Yeah, that was just a rumor there, because he was a dwarf, and people are prejudiced against dwarves, so they created rumors about him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Tyrion 100% has to be Tywin Lannister's child. The fact, if he's not, it ruins the story.
Exactly.
Because Tywin is so arrogant and he thinks that he's perfect, that this perfect man had this type of son, and he can't see his beauty because he's physically not beautiful. He can't see his inner beauty, and that's what he should appreciate. And I think that 100% is the Tywin. Now, as for the twins, I could see why you would think that. And we see the Targaryens do have a lot of twins, but in the show, we see the Lannisters have twins too, like it's a known fact thing. So I could definitely see why you would think that would be possible. It would be ironic, and this is what I said in a video that I made about this a long time ago, that if it was this way, and this is the way I do believe that it is, then you would have Tyrion, you would have these people, Tyrion and Jaime, both killed their fathers. Right, and that's why I thought the irony would be.
That goes into like there's a lot of people do that. There's also like Bael the Bard was killed by his son. Yeah, you have a lot of people over the course of history doing stuff like that. It's just from a storytelling perspective. It's just really poetic. Like if Tyrion Lannister is Tywin's only true-born son, people will say like he would have known. Like Tywin Lannister has blind spots. I don't want to get too distracted on this topic. I'm actually re-releasing videos on Tyrion and Jaime on this, separate videos, but like it's interesting that Tyrion has in the books, he has one black eye and one green eye, which is sort of a nod to the Dance of the Dragons. That's cool. But at the end of the day, it's real poetic if Tyrion is Tywin's only true-born son. Like one of the cool things, when Jaime's in the Riverlands, Aunt Gemma, which I think is one of Tywin's sisters, she looked at him and she's like, Jaime, like Tyrion is Tywin's son, not you. Now she was speaking to him in terms of their personality. She wasn't saying like you're not actually Tywin's son, but that's the type of Easter egg that George drops. And then also during Tywin Lannister's sigil, Jaime stayed awake for like 7 or 8 days, and he was a little delusional. He had a vision of his mother, and in that vision, his mother was like talking about his father, and then she's like, "And your father never knew how to laugh or never liked being mocked." And the things he was saying apply to Tywin, but they also apply to the Mad King. So yeah, I mean, it's up to interpretation, but personally for me, the twins are Mad King Aerys' children.
And I will give this in that dream, in those dreams too. And a theory that I believe in and everything else is that Gendry is Cersei Lannister and Robert's true-born son.
Interesting, really?
Yeah. Well, you look in those dreams and everything, when they have those dreams, and I got to pull it up, and so I don't have it right in front of me. It says, you hear him say that they ask Gendry, say, "Who is your mother?" he says, "Oh, she's probably some tavern wench." But in those dreams with Jamie, you hear her say when she's looking, it's a woman dressed as a tavern wench, and it's Cersei. And then Cersei says, "Oh, I used to dress up like this and sneak out to meet you." So we see that Cersei used to dress up like a tavern wench. Gendry says that his mother used to be a tavern wench, and the only thing he remembers about her was that she had blonde hair and used to sing to him. So I think that is Robert and trueborn son is Gendry, and Cersei gave it up because she didn't want to have his son and gave him away.
Yo, real quick, Jess Bridvek said Tyrion's parents were distant cousins. He was still an incest baby and could have had a normal incest tale. If she's referring to Tywin and Joanna Lannister, they were not distant cousins. They were first cousins, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there was no distance between them.
Yeah.
But I would say this is a common practice to marry cousins. You know, my grandparents were cousins and got married. You know what I mean? On my mother's side, they were cousins, and they got first cousins, and they got married. So even 2 generations away, this was common practice to marry your cousin. You know what I mean? Especially back then, you know, they grew up in North Carolina. You didn't see a lot of people. I've had cousins who've had crushes on me my whole life. And I think that's a common thing, that you have a cousin that you have a crush on, because those are the first people that you see a lot of times is your family, and that you're around like that. But I've had cousins that I've never done nothing with them. But I've had cousins all the time who had crushes on me, all the time. Phil is here. He's in the background.
Oh,
nice. When he's ready, he'll join in and stuff like that. But I see him there when he'll give me the thumbs up. If he can't do it himself, I'll put him in. But Phil is here. That means the phone line is open, 781-990-8509. If you want to join. Now, someone did put in there real quick. In the quote, someone did say that baby looked like a children of the forest. Do you think that child looked like a children of the forest? Let's bring the picture up again. I'm trying to. Well, let me wait for Phil to get here before I bring up the picture again.
For me, children of the forest, like, because people might be biased by like the way that the children of the forest were portrayed in the show. Granted, there's 2 different versions. When they run up the hill at the end of season 5 or whatever it is, the little girl looks one way. And then when they fast forwarded to, I think, season 6, the children looked a little different, almost like they had scales. But in terms of like the canon version of Children of the Forest, the main thing that sticks out to me are the 2 things: are A, they're really short, and B, for the most part, they had cat eyes. Of course, then you had some that had like red eyes, but they had cat eyes. And I don't think that do we have eyes in that baby, or were the eyes closed?
All right, we're gonna go. I'll pull it right up, but let's give a warm welcome to the one, the only Phil the Issues guy.
Thank you. Yeah, in the 2 different versions, the first one looked kind of like that movie Firestarter. It was just like a little kid throwing fireballs, and then the second one they did add the scales and make it look more earthy or green. It looked more green.
We'll open it up again so people can see, in case people haven't seen it. Let's pull it up again real quick. All right, is it on screen? It should be on screen, right?
Not on screen yet. No,
it's not on screen.
Nope.
All right, something's going on here now. Oh, that's right. I have to do this.
There we go. Yeah, its eyes are closed, so we don't know if it has. I mean, yeah, I don't believe it's a children of the forest. I believe that they're an entirely different race of people. Like, they're not born out of humans.
Now, in the show, right, the rumor was it in Blood Moon that they were going to be black people who played with blood magic and turned into the children of the forest.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
That's what they were going to go with. And I remember your people did videos on it and saying it was racist and everything else like that. But that's what they were going to do. It was going to be regular people that were black people in Westeros that messed around with blood magic, and they transformed themselves into the children of the forest.
I mean, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I want to find the exact quote, but there's something along the lines of like, when Leaf is talking to Bran and telling him who they are, and she's like, yeah, you guys call us the children of the forest, but we think of ourselves as those who sing the song of earth, or the singers. And she's like, you guys call us the children, but we were around long before you. It's you guys, the humans, that are actually the children. So based off that alone, if we can take a leaf at her word, which you might not take her at her word, but based off that, I interpret that as George telling us that those who sing the Song of Earth were around before humans were around.
I hear you. Thank you to the now. Around meaning what? Around on the continent or on the planet itself?
Existed, but I see what you're saying. Maybe it could mean
You
on
know what I mean?
Westeros.
It could
Yeah.
be that. You know what I mean? Because on that continent, it was just the giants and the children.
Oh, so I think it's about existence. So she says, before your old tongue was ever spoken, we had sung our song 10,000 years. Yeah. So I think she's trying to say that we existed before you were even a thing.
Yeah, I got you. I can see it could go either way.
Yeah, I hear you.
I can see it. Fernandez T, thank you for super chat. That's why Tef brought the Targaryen chair cousin stuff. You see, I ain't telling y'all motherfuckers nothing no more. They ain't telling you nothing. That's what happens.
So yeah, this thing is disgusting. Looks very alien. Looks very interesting. And I do want to also applaud the props department for putting this much attention to detail in something that was not the easiest thing to see within the scene. That they put this much detail into this thing. This looks creepy as hell. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the live chat were also mentioning, that incest is a hell of a drug. I mean, this could be just a deformation from an incest sort of situation as well, but probably not. But
it's got scales though.
Yeah,
I mean, incest doesn't leave you with scales.
Targaryen
and clearly
incest.
dragon scales. And when you look at the back of this baby, that it's clearly got some type of dinosaur back.
So which Targaryen way back had sex with the dragon?
A bold one. A bold one.
Torment, the equivalent of Tormund Giantsbane. He took one for the Targaryen team. I know, I'm just kidding. I mean, it could be with the bond and that connection, that there's some sort of blood magic thing going on there. But yeah, that's what makes me think that some Targaryen way back had some fun with a dragon.
Let's see. Mandrell is saying there are what up, Mandrell? He's saying there are premature Targaryens babies. It's why Daenerys couldn't be burned. I think when you deal with the whole, and I want to talk about House of the Dragon, but we're gonna deal with this because this is dealing with House of the Dragon. But we're gonna go into season 2. I promise you we will. I think that the Daenerys situation was a fluke that
100%.
wasn't supposed to happen. It was just it was Mirror Master, it was the dragon eggs, it was Khal Drogo, and it was her. Somehow all that combined some way. And it could have been this baby, and maybe that's why she wasn't able to be burned. But I think it was a whole combination of things. And
yeah, I mean, George R. Martin confirmed that offline. He said that was a one-time event. He said she's not fireproof. Granted, in the show, those post-episode things, Dan and Dave said that in their version of the story, Targaryens are fireproof.
Yeah, they gave her the superpower because they wanted to have her use it. So just to play the what if game, if Drogo never lets one of his blood riders handle that other guy and never gets wounded like that, never dies, is the baby born and Daenerys never hatches any dragons?
I believe
in that
so.
What if scenario?
Yeah, I think we are used to doing what ifs, and I think we did this what if.
I think it was if Drogo didn't die. Yeah,
and I think that we said this in the what if that that there's no way those dragons hatch. You can't have them hatch because it wouldn't be fair then, right? If you had Khal Drogo on dragon back with Daenerys on dragon back, it's over.
It's over. Imagine Drogo on Drogon. That the whole world's gonna burn.
Someone work on that fan fiction picture now, please. Do that.
It is over. There is no surviving anything because Khal Drogo burning everything. There's no political savvy. There's no talking him out of it. There's no nothing. He's flying over there. He's burning everything to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line. There's nothing. It would have ended everything. So I don't think they could have did it. It would just been way too OP.
Yeah, that would be because Khal Drogo never smiled, right? So picture Jason Momoa. He gets on Drogon, does his first flight, he lands, and all of a sudden he just looks over at Daenerys and it smiles. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it would have been a wrap. Without a shadow of a doubt, there would have been no way that would happen. Make sure you're in here. You hit that thumbs up for your boys out here doing these videos. You know what I mean? To everybody out there. What up to Wolf Spear? What up to Sam? What up to JC Wilder? What's going on? To everyone out there, Sam, Matt Spruce, thank you for joining us and everything else. Truly, listen, Khal Drogo on Dragonback would have been epic. Again, it would have been a little bit too OP. Do you have any comments about this picture, Phil, besides it's disgusting?
It's disgusting, and I do applaud the you guys said a lot about it. It also begs the question that you mentioned, Tony. If anyone ever survived, one has to survive. Is it impossible for this kind of abnormality? I can't say that word right now. To survive. So I don't know. I think it's awesome that they paid this much attention to detail in the prop. That's the biggest takeaway.
All right, so JC Wilder 86 is saying dragons are magic. Do you believe dragons are? I don't know if they're magic. I think they're just a regular creature. What do you think, Britt?
No, they breathe fire. I consider them magic. Fire, like that's not normal. It doesn't make sense. So basically, like Septim Barth, I believe, like we don't know for sure, but I think the closest person to the answer is Septim Barth, and he said that blood mages of Lyria experimented with different types of animals. That most likely dragons are a mix of blood magic and wyverns. I think that makes sense because you hear about like different types of like fireworms and stuff, and so potentially they were doing blood magic on like alligators and blood magic on boa constrictors and blood magic on wyverns, and the one that ended up working out the best was the wyvern. And so you basically made a wyvern-y type creature that breathes fire. It's crazy.
I don't know if they're see, to me, there's so much stuff in this world. I don't know if I can consider them that they're magic-based, these creatures. Now, listen, they did say that when the dragons died off, the magic died off. So there is some type of connection to them without a doubt. I can't deny that there is some, but there's definitely some type. I don't know if they're strictly magic, but there's something connected to it. There's no doubt about it. But the fact that they're born in eggs and everything else, like other reptiles, I do think they're of that planet somehow. You know what I mean? And I could see a creature breathing fire on that planet and stuff. And what about Ice Dragon then? That I would say would be more of magic than anything.
Did you hear that George R. R. Martin, he's what is he doing? He's like re-releasing the Ice Dragon. And I hate that he said this, but he actually gave a reason why. So, do you remember the Ice Dragon short story?
Yes.
Do you remember that? So it's a kid's story. And in theory, like in my head, I always thought that was canon, right? Even though I know that there were rumors and he had said that it's not canon, it just made sense to me that the pool at Winterfell is the result of an ice dragon. So I always liked that. And to be honest, I'm not changing the story that lives inside my head. I still like that. But recently, it was a couple days ago, he said something about he's like re-releasing the Ice Dragon or doing a new book of pictures, whatever it was. Or no, you know what it is? I think he's doing a show for the Ice Dragon. But he did say that he's like, I know a lot of people wonder if the Ice Dragon is part of the world of Westeros, but he's like, I wrote the Ice Dragon in 1978. I didn't even start. Take these dates with a grain of salt. But he's like, I wrote it in like 1978. I didn't even think about the world of Westeros until the 90s. So yeah, it actually isn't part of the. Damn, I hate that though, because I want to believe it is.
But there were other dragons in there that had fought.
There were fire dragons and ice dragons. It's a cool little short story.
They kicked the shit out of those fire dragons by itself.
Yeah, it got hurt though.
Yeah, but it was one of them. Yeah. One of them fuckers versed those fire dragons. I think it's canon too. I'm going with canon.
Right? I love it as canon because it's such a beautiful story, and it really yeah. I refuse to believe it's not canon.
Head canon is more important than real canon.
Fuck you, George. It's fucking canon.
We do have a handful of voicemails whenever you're ready, Tony.
All right, let's take a voicemail, and then we'll go into season 2 predictions.
Okay, we got a few. Let's go to our first one. This is from area code 919. I guess I don't have to worry about spoilers tonight. Here we go. I guess we could go back and listen to KP.
Oh wait, real quick though, because I had not seen this picture until this live stream, but it's remember how Dany was having that mental connection with Syrax during her pregnancy, so something was happening there. There was magic happening. That's why I think the baby changed right then and there. Yeah, sorry, Phil.
Oh no, it's okay. You called her Dany, but I know who you meant.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You meant Rhaenyra.
Yeah, Rhaenyra.
But area code. It's okay. We were just talking about Daenerys. Yeah. It was an interesting transition. Area code 919.
Hey, this is Justin. They call me Just Genius Art. I'm a visual artist, teacher, and poet in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, but I know it through the show. I haven't actually read any books, but I kind of listen to audio books or YouTubers explain it. I'm really grateful for the Teflon TV show and all of the different guests. I really enjoy you all. Your breakdowns and knowledge are really good and great. And I enjoy it. It's something I look forward to, and I'm a new fan, and I'm going to keep coming back. So I appreciate the love, family. Um, I love military type of ancient war stuff, you know, like Conan on the Hill, 13 Warrior type stuff. So is it any big military battles? We got the Crab Feeder beach battle, but I will feel like since now it's the Dance of the Dragons, that we're going to get more military battles. So what's the top three military battles that doesn't necessarily have dragons involved that you're looking forward to seeing on the screen? I appreciate you all. Sending you love and light. Peace.
I mean, Kristen Cole's battle, I would say, would be number one. It's hard to say them without the dragons, because a lot of them do have the dragons.
Even if the dragon
So
comes in late or something.
This is a full spoiler stream. There's going to be one early that we're probably going to get next season. There's where it's like the Westerlands, the Lannisters and them. They're starting to fight with against like Riverlands and stuff. And you also have some of the North coming down, not the Starks, not Creed and Stark, but you have other people like I think it's Dustin or whatever, the Winter Wolves. They come down. There's also one towards the end up near the God's Eye. I think it's called like the Fish Feed or something like that. Like they pin those mofos against like the water, and they're killing them. It's like the bloodiest of all the. There's going to be a lot of There will be, or there can be, depending on what they portray in the show. There can be a lot of battles that don't even include dragons, but dragons are going to be a part.
Tumberton, I don't think has a lot of dragon action in it. In there, because I think that's where Hugh gets got in that one. The second one is when he gets got.
Well, in the second one, the drag. And like people will call the Targaryen civil war between Aegon and his half sister Rhaenyra the dance of the dragons, but only at Tumbleton did the dragons ever truly dance, because you have like a three-way going up in the sky and something's happening. I feel like there might have been a mating flight going on up there, but so the dragons are doing their own thing, and Vermithor is killing some humans. But you're right, like a lot of the chaos is actually just human on human chaos.
So if y'all are wondering, I figured out exactly how these seasons are gonna go. All right, figured it out. So this is what it's going to be. And I promise you, this is how it's going to fall. It's going to play out. Because I looked at the audiobooks and I could tell you exactly what chapters are going to be in every season. I'm going to do it right now.
Death of the Dragon.
This one right here, right? This first season was a question of succession, the dying, the blacks in the green, and the black. It was a question of success, the heirs of the dragon, question of succession, and the blacks and the greens. It was those three chapters. So
and
that means
next
season is going to be a son for a son, the red dragon and the gold dragon, and Rhaenyra triumphant. The third season is going to be Rhaenyra overthrown, the short sad reign of Aegon II. No, it's going to be two. It's going to be two. My bad. It's only going to be 2 chapters, not 3. So it'll have to be. This question of succession, the black of the greens. This season is going to be a son for a son, the red and the gold dragon. The third season will be Rhaenyra triumphant and Rhaenyra overthrown.
Yep,
last season will be the short, sad reign of Aegon II and Hour of the Dragon Wolf. And that'll be it. They're doing 2 chapters per season. So the next thing that we should see should be a son for a son and the red dragon and the gold dragon. But I think they're going with the green dragon. Anyway, I think that because they showed the green.
You're muted, Bridge.
You're muted.
What do you mean by the green dragon?
When they pulled up, when Hightower went to Dragonstone, he said that it was a green dragon.
Yeah. That was weird. So there's 2 things here. I think Otto has his own banners, which is a green dragon. Maybe because when Aegon was crowned, there was a golden dragon behind him. He wasn't crowned with a green dragon. But you're right. They did say like, yeah, he showed up with the green dragon. Like I was like, what? I think Otto has his own sigil in the show. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they may go with the greens. It's instead of doing the gold, because the gold dragon is because he makes it gold because of his dragon, right? And they haven't really focused on that dragon enough. I think for TV purposes, it'd be easier for them to follow if they see a green dragon because they know Hightower's green. So he would be down with that.
But we have seen a golden dragon. When Aegon's getting crowned, there's a big golden dragon right behind him.
Yeah, but I don't think they focused on it enough that people would get it. I think it'd be easier for them to understand the gold dragon. And Rhaenyra is going to be
green, yeah.
Yeah, green. And I think Rhaenyra is going to be quartered, right? So she's going to have House Aaron, House Valyrian, and then the Red Dragon. Right? That's her sigil. So there's going to be two major points in season 2. Two things. One major death that I think is going to happen in episode 10. Major death.
This is full spoiler. We can say it, right?
100% spoiler.
So you think the season ends with Rhaenys' death?
Yeah, I think Rhaenys will die in season 10.
Bridge, you're shaking your head.
Well, I just don't think we're going to go nearly as far. I think the Red Dragon, we're going to finish. Like, we've done part of the Sun for a Son. We've done Arrax and so far, Arrax and Vhagar. So I think we're going to finish up Sun for a Son, including like going up to Winterfell and stuff like that, going up to the Eyrie with Jacaerys. Then we have all like the Stormy, the Gullet and all that stuff. But I think we're going to have the Red Dragon, the Gold Dragon mid-season. And I think and the Red Dragon and the Gold, that's when Rhaenyra takes a city. So I think a logical point for the story to go is like the first season ends with both of them being crowned. The second season will end just with the Red and the Gold, with Rhaenyra taking King's Landing. I think that's
I think she takes it in season 3. I think they'll have her take it in season 3 because then right after that.
But that's not Rhaenyra triumphant. That's part of Red Dragon and Gold Dragon.
Well, Rhaenyra triumphant when she all right. So
she's already got it at that
point. There's two different parts. I don't think she takes it this season. I don't think you'll see her sit the Iron Throne until season 3. Because you have to go back. You have to take Harrenhal. That should have been done already, and he didn't take Harrenhal yet, right? They had him there with him getting the news. So you got to have Daemon go to Harrenhal, take over Harrenhal, and you have to have Aemon and them try to track him down at Harrenhal. When they go down there, that's when she swoops in and just sits on the throne and says, "All right, I'm taking this over." So I don't think we're going to get that far. I think we're only going to get to Rhaenys' death at the end of the season. And then the next season, everyone will be happy because then you'll see Rhaenyra jumps in there. But I think you're going to have the Blood and Cheese, episode 3. I think that would happen.
That's episode 1. That's episode 1.
You think it's right off the bat?
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, do you think they'll start the season with like that's how you hit a home run right off the ground, get people talking about the show?
I think it's just too much to give them.
You got it.
Because you got to. I think you have to have because Daemon's gonna say it right after this. Yeah. We're gonna do. They killed your son. We're gonna do it the same way they did it to us. He's gonna set it up, and I think that he's going to meet these people to do it in Harrenhal.
But imagine the surprise.
But I think they may even go with Loras. Could have something to do with it. Like he could be playing both sides. I think that's not how it goes in the books.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think they may have him playing both sides and have him have something to do with it. Or those people that he cut the tongue off, like those two of those guys could be the guys to do the Blood and Cheese.
So I'm not ready to jump on Larys being a part of it. I lean a different direction. So I don't think Mysaria is going to be part of it, as she is alluded to in the books, because Mysaria seems to care for children. It's like, does she not care about royal children? She seems like the type that cares about all children. So I think they're going to take Mysaria out of it. And the way they could do that is because when Daemon showed up to King's Landing for the first time in season 1, he had somehow gotten into like the castle and gotten into the throne room without anyone seeing him. And he also spied in the small council at one point. So I think, and also actually, and he told Rhaenyra about like the tunnels. So it seems like he's the one that already knows about those tunnels. So he could just hit up his dudes and be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. He doesn't need Mysaria, basically.
See, I think what they're going to do with that is it's going to be the cliffhanger at the end of episode 1. We're going to like right at the end of episode 1, you'll see them showing up at the door and like locking the door. And then episode 2 will basically be will start in that way. But I do think they're going to want to, this show in threat of saying the term, because I think it's a stupid term, like the break the internet thing. They want the first episode to have the when it comes back after a 2-year break to have as much impact as possible and to come out the gate with, I understand what you're saying, Tony, with it might be too much too soon, but that's, I think, what they want. Like if you come straight up with that, everyone's just gonna be, what the goddamn, like that's sort of a hint into, or you hint at it like, oh, is Allison dead right here? Like what's going on here? You have no clue what's happening. I think for the casual person that doesn't know it's coming, it would be such an amazing way to begin the season.
I 100% agree with you that it would be, but what I would have to push back is that you don't know your viewership from that first episode, right? So you're going to want to build your viewership. Viewership always goes up after the first episode, usually, right? It usually gets them back in and everything else. So I think they're going to build up the viewership first and not shoot their load. That because if you do that episode 1, everything else could be considered downhill from there.
It's true.
That's a big load to shoot, right? So I don't think they're going to shoot that load that quick. I think they're going to establish Helena a little bit more.
You think they're going to edge us? They're going to edge us a little bit more, so it's a bigger.
I think they're going to make you care about Helena a little bit more and the kids. They have to focus. So if people don't understand what blood and cheese is, let's talk about exactly what that situation is. In retribution for them killing her son, Daemon hires 2 people, a rat catcher and someone else, and their name is Blood and Cheese. These people use the hidden tunnels in King's Landing, and they break into Helena's room.
No, it's Alice. They break into Allison's room, knowing that Helena's coming.
To Allison's room first. They grab her up, and then they break in. They grab Helena. Comes in there because she always says good night to her mother. She goes in there. When she comes in there, Allison's grabbed up, and then they say, "Listen, you have to choose one of your sons to die because a son for a son." And then they wind up slitting one of the sons' throats right in front of both.
And it's extra messed up because they ask her which one she wants to pick, and she decides on the younger one. And then the dude whispers into the younger one's ear, "Oh, your mother wants you dead." And then they killed the other one, the one that she didn't pick. So she goes extra mad, knowing that she has to live with the child that she sentenced to death. Essentially,
real quick, I just want to say shout out to Phil. You're becoming like a book nerd, like Tone and I.
I'm currently listening to Fire and Blood for the first time. Great. So it's like I'm here, and either the audiobook's gonna spoil me, or you guys are gonna spoil me. Either it's good either way. I happened to just listen to this earlier today, so it's only regurgitation. I haven't taken it as my own knowledge yet, Bridge, but it's just hanging out with you two educates me.
Yeah, so that's what happens. So after that, then Aegon is like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Now everyone's got to die. And that's when the war really gets set off right after that. Then because you have to have him fire Otto Hightower this season because Otto Hightower is too busy sending out mail.
Which is really cool if we're doing all spoilers, but eventually one of the coolest things for the green side that eventually happens is Otto gets kicked out from writing a bunch of letters and doing some negotiating, but then eventually that works out. Even though he gets kicked out, in the triarchy, all them, they come to support Aegon's side and show up at a very important time in a battle and kind of change the course of the action to a certain extent. It doesn't really have the...
And then he makes Kristen Cole his hand to the king.
Yep. Oh my God.
And Kristen Cole is the one who decides we're going to go to the Harrenhal and march down there. And we're going to kill all these motherfuckers right now. But he also sets up the plan to get Rhaenys killed. When they kill Rhaenys, they set that whole plan into motion and everything else. So the fact that Blood and Cheese is going to be so big. Now, people are saying that it's red wedding level. Do you guys think that it's red wedding level?
No, like I truly think it'll be episode 1. I think the bigger events are... Melee's, the Red Queen, her going down is a huge event, and the Gullet, the battle at the Gullet is huge. Like that's a major event. So that's why I think like I don't think like you were saying blow your wad or whatever. I forget how you worded it early in the season. Like I don't think I think that's the natural progression of the story. Like they just killed the son. Next episode, another son's going down.
No, I just think that you have to have him take Harrenhal first. I don't think he's gonna do it from Dragonstone. I just don't think.
But wouldn't he's closer from Dragonstone? Why would he fly up to Harrenhal and then send someone?
Well, he's already in Harrenhal when that jumps off, though. In the books, he's not there. He's already down there, right? Because what happens? He leaves.
Yeah,
before
he does go
the
there
king
earlier in
gets
the
back.
book. Yeah.
He's already down there. Again, and you have to have someone who has intimate knowledge of these keeps that we've seen, these secret rooms that they're able to sneak in. Listen, he may do it they may have him do it himself. Because all they've shown so far, the people who know about the secret rooms, is him. So he may put a hood on himself, go in there and kill these babies. They may give him that role.
The one thing, I'll push that would be wild. I'll push back on that because, like, I don't think Larys is a green seer. I think the reason that they've been showing us rats is because they're going to introduce a rat catcher in season 2. That rat catcher is cheese, and then also Daemon had there was one big guy that was with him in his gold cloak scene in like episode 1 or whatever, episode 2. I think that big guy is going to turn out to be Blood because it's one of his buddies from the gold cloaks. Actually, and they mentioned it in like episode 9, I guess it was. There were quick little dialogues when they had the Black Council in the small table. They said there are, I think they said three people we have to remove from the gold cloaks, and so those 3 people that aren't loyal to them, they're probably loyal to Daemon, and maybe one of them got away, like Blood might have got away, something like that.
One thing
I think they're setting it up for Blood and cheese.
One thing that's just cheesy that I really do want is I want to see Otto, once they get rid of all the rat catchers, bring the 100 cats in to run around and kill all the mice. I hope we do see that. And Tony, it's a weird thing because we're in a weird situation where I agree with you. You asked the question, is it red wedding level? No, because of the fact of we followed those 2 characters, if you want to say 3, counting Talisa there, or in the book, or she isn't there, or the different woman isn't there, but in the story, but talking about just Robb and Catelyn, you follow those characters from the very beginning. You really do care about them on the show. If they did something like that, even towards the beginning of the season, I don't know her kids. I don't know Helena's kids as much as I like Helena on the show. I don't know her enough for it to have, even if it's going to be a horrific situation, it's not going to have the emotional weight unless they did it mid-season and they took some time to really make you care about her kids. I mean, it is going to be horrible to see any child die on screen, and that's going to be a big thing that's going to get a lot of press, that's going to get a lot of attention, and it's going to get a lot of articles that say more horrifying than the Red Wedding, even though they did stab a pregnant woman in the belly, which is pretty fucking horrible. But I do think the people affected by this aren't the people that most of the people watching are emotionally invested in, where the Red Wedding was people that you are emotionally invested in. So it's not going to have the same buildup. It will be more the shock value of it.
But the fact that it's kids and the way it goes down, it's gonna hit hard, I think.
It is, but not Red Wedding hard in the way that it means emotionally to the characters.
The Red Wedding, you had time to care about Robb. Robb was the hero. He was going to avenge his father. He won every battle. He was unstoppable. He was kicking Tywin Lannister's ass. You know, he was doing all this. You cared. Robb was clearly the good guy. They have set up the Greens to be the bad guys. So there's no way you can care about them as much as you cared about these people. And I think that is what it would be. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. I want the last Green seer to be behind it all. Finn, I don't think he is. But I understand why you would say it, but I don't think he would be behind. This is just a straight up murder for murder. And that's it. Eye for an eye situation. You killed my son, I'm killing your son.
Yeah, we are debt collectors. Tony, you ready for another voicemail?
Sure.
Here we go.
Wait, real quick.
Yep.
Before the voicemail.
Yep.
All right. So I think not Red Wedding level, but it's gonna hit hard. Season 2, Jace going down, because we're gonna get to know him going up to Winterfell, going up to the Vale maybe, and going up to Winterfell. We're gonna get to love this kid. And then he goes out, he goes out fighting for his brothers, and like him and a dragon. I think that one's gonna hurt.
That's
Fans
gonna be
that don't know about it,
incredible.
that one's gonna hurt.
He dies at sea.
I don't think that's not right. That's why all right, so let's get it. I think let's go through it right now. I think Blood and Cheese happens episode 3. Bridge, what episode do you think? 1. Phil, what
episode 2 with the cliffhanger of episode 1 into episode 2, someone walking into Allison's store.
Right, everybody remember this. Phil is 2, Bridge is 1. I am episode 3. Let's come back when this starts in 2 years. We're gonna come back and see who was right. What episode?
Yep,
Blood
no.
and Cheese. jumped
Notice
off.
how I hedged my bets by saying 1 and 2, but that's okay. Here we
Yeah,
go.
no.
Here's a voice.
You're in for 2, Phil.
I'm in 2. I'm in for 2. I'm in 2. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Hey guys, I'm just wondering about Larry's. We didn't get much of him in the first season, so they kind of hinted that he could very well be a skin changer and could be using the rats in season 1 maybe as a spy network. And I'm wondering what you guys think about that. This is JC, by the way, Phil. Love you.
So what you were just kind of hinting at that. Do you think there's any skin changing going on with the rats?
For me personally, I say no because I find him to be a much more compelling character if he's able to do all that he does just out of his wits. Like, so yeah, I don't think he is. Like I said, I think the fact that we have all these rats, the reason is because there's a rat infestation, and thus they're going to introduce a character called the rat catcher. His name is Cheese.
I think you're 100% right with that, Bridge, on all fronts. That's the reason why they say showing the rats. That's why they're gonna have the rat catcher. I think the only way Loras could be involved is if somehow this rat catcher works for him and he's hedging his bets and he's the one who's remotely behind both of these situations that goes on. He's just
maybe Allison started wearing socks and he gets
I could see a situation like that. As for him being having mystical powers, being skin changer, it's impossible. It's not this type of show. This is not what it's about. I don't think you're going to see any skin changing whatsoever in this series. The series is not about that, and he's not of the blood of the person to be a skin changer. It wouldn't be as strong. We haven't seen anything from any strongs that they would do anything to have any ability like that. So I understand what you're saying. You know, they did it with Arya with the cats and her walking around as a canal, and inside, when she was inside Winterfell, inside the cats, you have that big cat. That was that big ass cat that was fucking all the other cats up in Game of Thrones. What's the name of that big cat that they said Mr. Pounce was afraid of? That wild cat that was fucking all the other cats up. I forgot that cat's name.
What's his name? Was his name Balerion? Maybe I'll look it up.
It was something, but I know that big ass. That big
someone
cat
in the live chat said One Eye, maybe? No.
The one that Tommen was afraid of was a mean cat. He keeps coming around, that mean old cat. That one right there, you know what I mean? That one was skin changed, that cat, that, you know what I mean? And all that stuff.
Morpheus Infinity says we're so wrong, probably about the time of Blood and Cheese. Carlo Wayne, every time someone says Blood and Cheese, I think about wine and cheese.
Let me ask everyone in the chat, put in the chat right now. What episode do you think that Blood and Cheese is going to happen? Put it in the chat right now so that we can see exactly what you see. I'm saying episode 3.
Someone says Balerion the Black Toad.
We got right off the bat, we got a 3, we got a 1, we got another 1. I wish I could just put a poll up there.
So I just checked the cat.
You can if you go to the. I'll explain it off.
All right.
The cat was Balerion. So it was Rhaegar's daughter, Rhaenys. She had the cat. And then it says that offline, George R. Martin pretty much confirmed that is Rhaenys' cat, Balerion. The big angry black Tom.
We got a couple of 5s. Someone's saying 4/5. You can't hedge your bets that way. You got to pick.
Don't be a me. Don't be a me. Don't do what I do. We do have a voicemail from Jenna while we're letting some of these numbers
Free
come
Your
in.
Mindset did a super chat for $9.99. Thank you so much. I don't see a question. There it is. All right, let me show what's going on.
Jenna says we can skip her voicemail.
Nope, we're not. We love your voice.
Nope, here we go, Jenna. Sorry.
It says, I love you guys. I do.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Bridge.
Let me read this super chat.
Yep, sorry, go for it.
Let me read the super chat real quick. Thank you, sir. I love you guys. I've been watching you faithfully. Great content. Keep up the work. Thank you so much. We truly, truly appreciate that. All right, let's go.
Jess says she is a Phil.
Hi, Tony. Hi, Phil. Hi, Bridge. I'm so excited for the spoiler stream. So what do you think the opening of season 2 will be? Do you think we'll get a cold open on Blood and Cheese? Or perhaps Otto shouting, "You lost an eye. How can you be so blind? Blah, blah, blah. I'm a jerk off." And hello, everyone in the chat. Please like the video, subscribe, and become a member. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I think that I don't know cold open. I think you have This is why I don't think it's happening right off the bat, and I'm going to explain to you right now. Number one, you have to have the aftermath of them reacting to how he killed this kid. You have to show that. You have to show Allison upset, Otto upset. You have to show that
Aegon throwing him a party.
Yeah, you got to show all that situation. So I think, to me, that's how it sets off. It sets off with him returning and him explaining what he did and everything else, and his mom saying, "You're so fucking stupid. What are you doing?" And Otto screaming at him, and then his brother praising him for doing it. I think that's how it opens. What do you think?
So in the books, Jace goes from the Vale to White Harbor and then up to Winterfell. So first of all, I think you have to open up the story with just skipping the Vale and skipping White Harbor. You got to open up with Jace flying into Winterfell. I think that would just be a great way to open up the show. That'd be sick because we're back, Winterfell. And then, I still believe that then the majority of the episode is going to be Jace hanging out with Cregan Stark, bonding with him, and then Rhaenyra and Daemon making a plan, and Blood and Cheese ending off the episode. That's the way I see one going down.
Yeah, as for someone saying Henry Cavill being...
Yeah, I keep hearing this.
He's too old.
He's twice the age. Yeah, you can't
he's
do that.
Way too old to be Cregan.
Yeah.
Y'all just want Henry Cavill in this show so bad. If he's going to be in the show, he's going to be young Robert Baratheon. That's what he'll be when it's all said and done. And that'll be it. And I said that years ago. You go check my best.
I know everyone's trying to cast Henry Cavill in a Song of Ice and Fire universe somewhere.
They want him somewhere and everything. Phil, what do you think the episode starts? The season starts?
I tend to agree with what Bridge is saying. I think they're advertising a lot. Even the writers and creators have already said that you will see Winterfell in season 2. So I think it's, even though some important stuff does happen, it's going to be a lot about Jace's bond with Cregan Stark, and I think they're going to want to spend a lot of time with that. So I think that visual image of going into Winterfell is ideally probably how they're going to start the season, but it also could start with the second scene. I think very early on is the scene you were talking about with Aemon showing up back and Otto being like, you got one eye, but you're blind as a bat, you're an idiot, and Alicent screaming at him, and then Aegon throwing him a party, and you see him sort of embracing this, and instead of being in conflict about being a kinslayer, sort of taking ownership of it and being like, I kind of meant to do it. And I foresee, I kind of think he's going to have that. Oh, I like this. I like that people fear me like this, and then take it on. And that's why the stories say that it was more, him doing it on purpose. But yeah, so I think that's how the season starts. With
Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. Says finally the Winterfell dragon egg mystery is solved. We have heard rumors that there was a clutch of dragon eggs that was left up in the Winterfell crypts. We don't know if that's true. Do you think that if that is true, that they will show that happen at this thing, Chris? What do you think?
I mean, I don't think it's true because 170 years later, no one's found any eggs up there. I think it's more just a poetic way of saying that my dude Jace hopped on the good foot and did the bad thing with Sarah Snow, and he lit, some dragon eggs up there.
In this account, I believe
you'd be able to take a dragon. In the beginning, I thought that they would take a dragon egg, throw it inside of that pool in Winterfell, and it would turn to the ice dragon.
That would be wild.
That's what I always thought they'd do. I always wanted that to happen.
That'd be sick.
I thought that's the way it was going to go down. But yeah, I agree that that it could start like that. All right, so next major part. I mean, we'll talk about the Death of Rhaenyra real quick. Then we'll go into there's a lot of middle stuff in there. We're leaving out right now. There's one battle.
The twin battle is that going to happen this year as well?
That will happen.
The Battle of Rook's Rest should happen. That should be the major battle that we get. Would be the Battle of Rook's Rest.
Right? And the personal twin battle one-on-one when that's going to be a big event of season 2 as well. Probably.
The twins are a fight thing that happens pretty early, like a little after Blood and Cheese. It should happen.
So those are those are the major points that we get next season. This thing, right? Battles of Rook's Rest, the twins fighting, Blood and Cheese, and the Death of Rhaenyra.
I think it's going to go further. I think we'll get the Battle of the Gullet.
Do you really think
they're
going to give you 2 battles in one season?
Yeah, I think. I mean, this whole show is just going to be wars and battles. It's going to be crazy for the next 3 seasons. Who knows? But yeah, I think that they'll do all of that next chapter, all of the gold dragon and the red and the gold, or whatever it's called.
We got a super chat. Kelly Johnson says the dragon egg is as valid as Bridges' Danny Flynn's theory. Fuck you, Kelly. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. No, it is valid, and the Danny Flynn theory is valid also. Okay.
JC
Thanks,
Weidler
Dylan.
says, so Aegon gets burned this season. Yeah, I do think. I guess
Oh,
it all depends on how the show handles the pacing. If the show continues the same pacing that it's had in season 1, Bridge is probably right. If it slows things down a bit, it probably ends with Rhaenys dying in the final episode.
that's when he gets burnt, though. So that's going to happen.
Right. So
regardless.
that's what I'm saying. Either way, he's going to get burned, and we're going to.
Yeah, he gets burned in that battle with Rhaenys.
Yeah.
So
That'd be a great way to end the season.
This is why it could be 9, because they could show the aftermath of that. Or they may make you want to think that he's dead too.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's fucked up after this? I mean, his metal melts to his skin.
Yeah.
Right?
Aemon is running things, which is scary as hell.
And then Aemon starts to takes over. I think that's why I think it has to end that way. And then season 3 starts with Aemon as the fucking king, basically running the whole fucking shit and everything else. I really think it has to end with Rhaenys' death. The only problem I have about this whole situation is that if Rhaenyra dies in season 3, will people still want to watch season 4?
Yeah, I don't think she will until season 4. That's where we differ, I think, in the timelines. I think they're going to cram a lot into season 4 because I don't think you can have Daemon or Rhaenyra die in season 3. They've got to both be alive in season 4.
Yeah, when does Daemon die? This is one of those things I'm not sure about. Spoil it to me. I don't care. When does Daemon die?
I think most people believe that he would die at the end of season 3, but I think they can't.
Yeah,
I think they've got to cram that
thing.
into the beginning of 4.
Yeah, that would be the big death in season 3 would be Daemon and Aemon. Aemon would take over, and then Daemon would die. Oh, it's so much because you have to have Rhaenyra take over King's Landing. Then you have to have so you got to have Rhaenyra take over King's Landing. Then you have to have fucking Hugh Hammer and the dragon. You have to consider that the dragon seeds, right? You have to do the whole dragon seed.
Could they do a whole season of like the dragon seed, people trying to bond with dragons, or is that just going to be in an episode or something? Like, will that be a long period of time?
No.
Showing people.
It's got to be a little bit because you have to have Off the White, Hugh Hammer, and Nettles get those dragons.
A lot of people die too. Like 16 people die. I think it's like 16 to 20 people die.
Yeah, that may be a montage.
A Better Call Saul style montage of people dying trying to bond with dragons.
Dragon death montage.
That'd be amazing. If they went full comedy there, I would applaud this show. That would be amazing. That'd be an amazing moment.
I guess you could end season 3 with Daemon and Aemon, but that would just be so sad. I guess that's a great way to end a season, though. It'd be gnarly.
I think you have to end. I'm thinking ending of the season. You have to, but if you do that, you're really going through the dragon seed stuff really fast then, right? Because Hugh Hammer, he dies before Daemon, right? No, the second Battle of Tumbleton is when he dies.
Oh yeah.
Right, so you have to go because you have to have Daemon, you have to have Hugh Hammer off the White. You have to have
second Tumbleton's after Daemon. It's the timing's weird because things are happening at different places, but in terms of like the chapters, you've got Daemon first Tumbleton, then Daemon, and then the next chapter you've got second Tumbleton. Like second Tumbleton would be in the 4th season. Because that's when shit's all just hitting the fan in the 4th season.
Yeah, and then you have to have the Valyrian dude who's Corlys is a bastard.
Oh, the one they think is his son.
Him come take sea smoke. You have to have him. He dies at that battle too. You know what I mean? He has to be.
If this is victory, I don't want to ever win again. He has that.
You have to bring him up, and he has to be named the heir and everything else. You have to have Corlys get taken prisoner and get thrown into the jail cell. Corlys is how they say. So there's so much that they have to do that it's hard to think of how they would do it in these seasons.
There are a lot of big events. Like there are just big events. There are big events happening throughout the story. I personally would like them to hold on to Daemon and Aemon until the last season, because there are other things like there's a mob at Bridge with like Rickard Thorne and the child Maelor getting killed. You have the Red Kraken stuff. They might not show that. And I think one of the big things, a way they could end season 3, instead of doing the Battle of the God's Eye with Daemon and Aemon, you do one of the biggest events before that is the Butcher's Ball. That's where the armies surround Kristen Cole and take out Kristen Cole. So they could end the season with that and save Daemon to the final season.
I mean, that would be a good final
it's too
season
much
battle.
for the final season, I think. I don't know if they can fit. It would be it would be an epic season. It would be every episode something as terrible is happening. But the whole thing is that I don't know if it's enough for them to do that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's enough for them to do that situation. Big E does bring up a point here. Let me show it on stream. It says the problem with Sea Smoke is Laenor's alive and Adama Hall is supposed to be the next dragon.
It's his uncle. It's going to be technically his uncle riding it, so it's in the family. So he accepts him as a rider. If you accept that, it's either his son or Corlys's son. So it's family.
I think they're half brothers.
Oh, half brothers. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I think it's
half
Corlys,
brother. Right, half brothers.
You seen the way Corlys was like, there's nothing like being in between the legs of a woman. I agree with him. But he said the way he said it, he's fucking. He's fucking, goddamn it. He's a dick slinger. And that's just the bottom line.
Tony, we do have another voicemail from Jenna. Here we go.
Hi guys, Vegan. So what characters do you hope will get more expanded next season? I'm hoping for more of Vela and Moondancer and Rhaena. I just always feel so sad for Rhaena. I wish she gets to say something to Aemon, because he's always stealing from her in this show. He took Luke and her chance with Vhagar. He's just such a punk.
But
I'll take this real quick. Sorry.
Make it. They're the only ones who really make it off this shit.
Yeah, they're cool.
So you would have to give them, I think, a little bit. That's it's hard to really think of how much they have to craft. I really think they should do 5 seasons. But if they're stuck on 4, then it's hard to see how they're gonna cram all this stuff in there.
So in terms of like Bela is one of my favorite characters, and obviously like Rhaena's really adorable since she's so nice in the show, especially with her smiles. But like Bela's awesome, but she'll get her time. Like they're going to spend a lot of time with Jacaerys because we're going to get to love him and then lose him. Yeah. I think we'll get a lot more time at Rhaenys for the same reason. It's like now you may get scenes with Rhaenys and Bela and Rhaena because of that, but you've really got to spend times with the people that you're going to lose. Otherwise, their deaths don't mean anything.
Yeah, my answer would be Rhaenys for the same reason Bridge was just mentioning, just because if they're going to kill her, they're going to kill her off. And if they do that, we want to see her have more agency, more control, show her for the strong warrior that she can be in this situation to make that battle when she's taken on these 2 dragons, one of them being Vhagar, and ultimately probably could have beat Vhagar one-on-one if it wasn't for Aegon. Maybe.
You're drinking that like that.
I don't know.
That Maester Kool-Aid. I'm drinking the Maester Kool-Aid right now.
The Gildane Kool-Aid.
Maybe. Well, because Caraxes puts it on him.
Yeah. But Caraxes is fought in wars and stuff. Melee's did.
Yeah,
Melee's actually
puts it on fucking this old ass dragon. And I think that, if they didn't slam to the ground, that Caraxes could have probably pulled it off. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. She fights them both off at the same time. Yeah. She definitely would have took out fucking
Sunfire.
Aegon.
Oh, easy.
That was a done deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she fights and she still injures them both. You know what I mean? She definitely, so to say, I think she did have a chance. But that's why they had to double team her.
So they say that Melee's, ever since even Melee's was young, Melee's is the fastest dragon in the realm. So she's good like that. She's like whew. But 2-on-1's that's no good.
We do have a voicemail. Let's play this one.
Well, hello, Philip. This is your Danny Vhagar calling, and I just wanted to see if y'all were hungry. I made some dragon sandwiches. I myself already ate, but I made some sandwiches for y'all. So
sick.
As soon as I can find my way out of the rain, I'ma just drop by. And I'll see y'all soon. Okay, now. Bye-bye.
She's gonna
I'm coming for you, Rhaenyra.
Oh, gonna make us some Luke
so
sandwiches.
happy. You know, meatloaf one week, dragon sandwiches the next.
Luke dragon sandwiches the next week.
We cannot say that this is a great thing that they have more than everything else.
Yeah.
So happy to have her come on here, and we have a thing for older women, and this channel. So thank you so much. We got nothing but love for you, LML. We got nothing for love. Not that you are not that the person. We know you're friends with a person.
Yeah, so going back to Laenor, so this is like, remember in our last stream, like there's things I can't talk about unless we do a spoiler stream. So here's just like the one thing is like, all right, so did Laenor actually survive in the books, or is it different for the show? We don't really know. George has said that both versions are real. Like he's been very vague with that.
He's hedged his bet both ways.
Yeah, he's pulling a me.
Exactly.
He's pulling a me.
He's on the fence like Carla Way likes to say. Like she likes to be. He's Humpty Dumpty in this motherfucker. One week he says one thing, next week he says a different. You can't trust George. You don't know.
He's ripping up chapters and rewriting shit. Yeah.
So when people say like, are we going to see Laenor again? That's a question I had to skip last week or 2 weeks ago. So my answer is this: the easiest way to resolve it, even though we've never seen this before, is just to say that Laenor broke his bond and he left, and he's one of the people to survive this dance by getting away. I think that's the route they're going to go. However, there is an opportunity if they want to give this guy an extra payday and get him back in the show and give him a scene. What they could have is that maybe Laenor is still bonded to Sea Smoke. They've separated. Granted, you'd have to like tie that dragon up, or else it's going to go looking for Laenor. But they could, in theory, when they're doing like the whole dragon seeds thing, Sea Smoke could be one of the dragons killing people, burning people, because he doesn't want to be bonded by someone new. And all of a sudden, you see this scene of like Laenor out in Essos, and he gets in a fight with someone. He dies, and as a result of him dying, then someone's able to bond Sea Smoke. So they could do something like that. I don't think they're going to, but in theory, they could do something like that.
Shorty Womp Womp, thank you for the super chat.
Shorty Womp Womp,
good work.
I love that name.
From New Jersey, baby.
Yeah, I remember that from last week. I was like,
New
Jersey.
Jersey repping. You know what I mean? New Jersey in the building, rocking with the stuff. You know what I mean? It's just, it's so hard when we really think about. I mean, season 2, I think we got pretty much figured out, almost. But the next seasons, there's so much stuff they may have to. Because number one, all right, so you got to have how they're gonna bring back Alicent's other son, right? They got to bring him in, number one.
Or do they save him for when he comes in on a dragon eventually?
Do you have him come in during Aegon, once Aegon's dead, all burnt up, and now you call for him because you need backup, and you bring in your brother that they never talked about at all for the whole first season on the new dragon? Does that work?
Chekhov's dragon.
Are you talking about Adam Befall?
No.
I missed that. You said someone's son. Who did you say? I missed that.
Alicent's other son.
Okay. Oh, Daron. Okay.
Daron.
Yeah.
Do you bring him in once Aegon is burnt up and now Aemon needs backup? Is that how you bring him in then?
Yeah, I think like possibly while like Jacaerys is doing things up in Winterfell, and we're gonna have people either planning Blood and Cheese or carrying out Blood and Cheese. They can also have a scene at least introduce Daron at some point in the beginning of the season. Like he doesn't need to make moves yet because it's over time. The High Towers are going to start moving north, so all you have to do is like give him a scene or two in the very beginning, and he's going to become more. He's going to get more involved in the story as the story goes on because he's down in Old Town and they start making their way up towards King's Landing.
They should have said something about him though in season 1, like when she went and when Alicent went and she talked to her uncle in the dinner scene. She could have just said, "How's my son? Oh, he's doing well."
I bet there's stuff on the cutting room floor that they did say something, but they chose to cut it. I 100% think there is.
It's so weird. Like I could see them possibly not mentioning him so that they could go either route, like maybe not include him. But like when people started first asking me back in the day, they're like, we haven't seen Daron. Is he going to be in the show? Like my answer was, he's got to be in the show, of course. So like to me, there's never a question of whether or not he's going to be in the show. So I don't know why they didn't. Like Tone said, they should have talked about him because he has to be in the story. It's too important to drop him, to leave him out.
They need that moment where he comes in with the dragons.
I mean, the whole Southern plot centers around Daron. So you need him in that
all
story.
centers around him.
Yeah.
He has to be there. To think that he's not going to be there. So as we're saying, so we're looking at it right now. I'm looking at that. I think they do 2 chapters.
Ooh, someone in the chat mentioned they did say 4 dragons, so they implied Daron in episode 10.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely coming. I guess he could be
Did
like
they bring-
Stannis.
what did they
Yeah.
do that?
Season 2.
So it was a real quick one-off line. Damon said 13 dragons. He counted up all the ones, including the wild dragons and then Silverwing and Vermithor, yada yada. And he said 13 to 4. So that 4 would imply Tessarion, Daron's dragon, but he never actually said Daron's name.
All right, because I think they do a son for a son, and then the next chapter, the red dragon, the gold dragons, and I think Rhaenyra's triumphant is season 3, and Rhaenyra overthrown is season 3. She takes the throne and she gets taken off. But if they do that, the problem with that, if they did that, and then they did the next 2 chapters for season 4, the short sad reign of Aegon, and then the Hour of the Wolf, would people really watch the show once Matt Smith and Emma Darcy are dead? Super chat from Jenna. Daron will show up when Otto dresses down Aemon for killing Luke.
They need to keep those actors on the show as long as possible because
So-
they're the drawing cards.
Like, I know a lot of people are so pumped for Cregan, and I think he's this great guy, even though he's not. He would have created a lot more debts. I think the Hour of the Wolf is literally going to be the final episode, an Hour
One
of the
episode.
Wolf.
I
Yeah, one
could see
episode.
him maybe 2, but 1 episode. He comes
Yep.
down, he says his shit, he executes some people, you get the marriage at the end, and it's over.
Yep.
And that's it. I don't think that you're going to get it would just be hard. It's hard for me to think that people watch this show once Emma Darcy and Matt Smith are killed off.
Is there any way they could save that in your timeline, Tony, or Bridge? What's your timeline where it ends in season 4 with the 2 of them both surviving into that last season? Because I think even if they die early, I think they'll try to make them just for the hype, just for the advertising of the next season to try to make them last until that last year.
So that's why I think season 3 is going to end with Kristen Cole getting killed. And then we'll save the Daemon and Aemon for the very beginning of the final season. And then it'll take you all the way up to the Hour of the Wolf. I think they're going to get a lot into that season 4.
They're just going to throw it all in there. It would make sense. I think they both
from a marketing side, right? Just to have the actors.
Yeah, you have to.
Just to have them there, and you got to have these people. I mean, I could see them killing Daemon off in season 3. I really could see him dying in season 3. I could see him dying in season 3 and then her dying in season 4.
Not both of them in the same season, though. They won't kill both Rhaenyra and Daemon in the same.
Unless you want Matt Smith in all these seasons, and you want him doing publicity until season 4. It would have to be so early that they killed him because there's so much shit that happens after that.
Episode 1.
Exactly. It would have to be the end of season 3 or literally episode 1 of season 4. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what? In my head, I've always been trying to tell myself season 4 because I love him and I don't want that. I don't want that event to happen. It's so tragic. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, he is huge. By the time this is a huge show. By the time we get to the end of season 3, even if Aemon One Eye and Daemon die, all these other characters are going to be enough to hold the show into season 4. Yeah. So I think, they could probably do that. And season 3 with Daemon, the God's Eye.
Then this is what happens. And I'm going to explain to you real quick. You don't want a Vikings situation.
Yeah, you don't want to Ragnar this stuff.
You don't want to. I don't know if you watch Vikings, Bridge.
I didn't. I've seen one episode.
But
I know what you're going to talk about.
They killed off Ragnar, and then they tried to have his sons, these actors who played his sons, take it over. It just didn't work.
How many seasons though did they try with his sons?
Like 2, 3 maybe.
Yeah, I think
that would be the difference. Get rid of Daemon. We've got one more season. That's it.
And these were
by the time people are
these were big long seasons, and to that extent. But yeah, I think. I mean, they could do it as a big season 3 moment, but I think just from a marketing standpoint, it would be good if they could hold that off into the early part of the final season.
So I keep flip flopping, but like Tone says, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen after that. That's a lot of stuff to squeeze into season 4.
So much. They'll have to cut shit out. There's no way they can do it all. You definitely have to cut stuff down and condense everything.
Yeah.
And all that. There's no other way. Because you'd have to have, in season 3 would have to be, if he's going to die in season 3, you have to have the Battle of Tumbleton, because then you have to have him, you have to have the whole Nettles love affair. Right, you got to have that
friendship.
You got to have the Battle of Tumbleton because she has to want them dead. She has to want Nettles dead. You have to have Nettles come in and go. You have to establish her as someone Damon's sleeping with and cares about. And you have to have her go fly off. You got to have the betrayal of them, which fucks her whole situation. You know, that happens before.
No, that's after.
Because that's when she gets all crazy about bastards. And all these people have to.
The first betrayal. First Tumbleton. Yeah.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
You have to have that go down. That's what makes her want to get rid of all off the white, but Hugh Hammer off. Yeah, it is Wolf, right? And Nettles, you have to have them go. All that would have to happen in season 3. You'd have to do all those situations. You'd have to have both battles in Tumbleton in that one season, 1 and 2.
Tony, is this really your cousin? Tony's cousin here?
Who said that?
Fapology?
No,
I do. Someone, I missed a comment. Someone. Just
Thank
a quick
you for
shout.
the super chat, Jenna. It says, "I have a tinfoil theory. Damon is cold hands." Damon is cold hands. Tinfoil theory. So I appreciate the theory. The only thing I could say about that is that cold hands seems to be someone from the Night's Watch from the armor.
Yeah, 100%. Because what he's wearing.
That would be the only reason why I would have to shut that down. It seems like it's someone from the Night's Watch from the armor that's wearing.
Area code 504 asks a question from the text. Thoughts on the war table and the placement of the landmarks like drift mark? I'm not sure the context of that. The placement of the landmarks.
I'd have to look at it.
I don't know what the question's saying. Maybe just because it's a table, the fact that like islands are sort of connected to the table, maybe, or I'm not sure what the question's asking.
Please embellish your question, 504.
Just real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Jack Hagar wrote, "We don't know if Damon's dead, so they might leave it ambiguous in season 3, episode 10. That's a really good point. They could carry out the actual event and then leave it ambiguous so that like
when you see them smash
really
into that fucking water, you know he's dead.
He's not dead in my head, though.
This is not Jamie Lannister.
You don't see a body. You don't see a body.
Jamie Lannister jumping into an imaginary lake that's 10 feet deep to get off a dragon back in full armor and showing up 5 miles down the river.
That's because he's a superhero, Tony. Don't hate on Jamie like that.
This is not a situation like that. It's going to be clear that he's dead. They're going to be sure that both of them are dead. Because you're going to see Aemon get stabbed right through his fucking eye. Mm-hmm. And that's gonna be it. And it's gonna be a done deal. And it's going to maybe the best scene of the whole series might be that scene.
It's gonna be sick. Plus, they already what's cool is that so when Aemon in the show, at least when he bonded Vhagar, he almost fell off Vhagar. So he's gonna learn a lesson. He's never gonna forget to strap in for his whole life. Lo and behold, he's gonna get killed by someone who purposely unstraps or doesn't strap in. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool little Easter egg there.
Oh, it's gonna. I think that a lot of people are gonna be sad once these dragons start getting taken.
Of course.
Especially how some of them die. Even what's going to happen to Aegon's dragon next season, where can't fly anymore. It's going to be sad. Sunfire.
You know what's funny though is that it's okay. So my friend Milt, the Westerosi ninja, he loves Sunfire, and I think it's because Sunfire is said to be like the most beautiful dragon. The way it's described, I don't even consider it beautiful. I think it's a lame dragon. I like other ones. So with that said, Aegon is not a very likable character, right? So it's like when I read this story, for some reason, like I love dragons, I kind of hate Sunfire because I just associate him with Aegon, and I hate Aegon.
So that's a good question. Do you hate other dragons based on their riders?
I think he's the one. I consider Sunfire Sunfire's like a douchey dragon. And it's also because part of the reason I think is because I'm on Team Bela and Team Moondancer, and they have their thing, and that just pisses me off. And I guess Melee's too, like that pisses me off. But to play devil's advocate, like I don't hold that against Vhagar. Yeah, I don't know. I hate Sunfire though for some reason.
I got my lollipop like Telly Savalas. Yeah, people in the chat probably don't know who Telly Savalas is.
Yeah, baby. What was it? Yeah, something baby. Was his
Telly Savalas?
Yeah, he had his catchphrase here. He's like, "Go, baby." You know.
Yeah, it was baby. It was definitely baby.
Something baby. Something baby.
It was watching you, baby, or something, baby.
Something. Yes.
And something, baby. Telly Savalas was the fucking man.
Yep.
He was a singer, actor. He had a hit TV show, Kojak. You know, a lot.
Yeah. People are saying it's just yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
So Jacaerys and Vermax. Vermax is going to be a hard one because it's going to resemble. It's going to resemble Rhaegal getting shot, falling into the ocean. And as if that's not bad enough, then Jace is like swimming or trying to hide in the water, and he gets shot.
Who loves you, baby? Sorry, Bridge. It's who loves you, baby. Who loves you, baby. Everyone had to have a catchphrase in that era. Everyone, to make it, you had to have even someone like Robin Williams that was insane had to go Ninu or something.
What are you guys talking about?
Nanu.
That was Nanu. What's this thing?
We're way over my head.
We're talking about some random silly bullshit, Bridge. Let's go back to the follow up to that question. A few other the person says a few of the landmarks on the table were in the wrong place or didn't exist. On the war table, Driftmark was in the wrong place. Did they do this on purpose?
I'll go look at the map. I'd be hard pressed to believe that they messed up the location of Driftmark. I think it was just what I'm guessing is that they're saying that Driftmark and Dragonstone were misordered or something like that. I find that hard to believe.
They could have been just setting stuff up. And yeah, baby. Hey, thank you very much.
Driftmark, the way it should be is that Driftmark is the one that's further south, and because that Driftmark is connected to the I forget what the corner of that cape is, but that creates the gullet right there. So Driftmark's the south one, Dragonstone's above it. I'm looking now. I'll try to find it.
Make sure you call in 781-990-8509. And Phil has come up here with the map of Westeros.
What was that?
That's ill, Phil. Where'd you get that?
This is a little wooden map thing that was given to me by
what the heck is that?
It's like awesome. It's a wooden map of Westeros. It's got little sticky things in the back.
Did someone hand carve that? That's pretty bad.
It looks like it's hand carved. I forget the company that did it, but it was sent to me a long time ago, during season 8 of Game of Thrones. It was a gift from the wonderful Carmine from Red Team Review sent this to me. And
nice. People saying Jace is a likable kid. What episode do you think Jace dies? We established the season already, right? It's next season.
Well, I think it is. I think that'll be episode 8. I see Rhaenys happening in 5, 6-ish, Jace happening in 8, and then I think Rhaenyra takes the city by 10. But towards the end of the season for Jace for me.
You think that they can go blood and cheese, Rhaenys within 2 episodes of each other?
No.
I think it's too much. It's too much to do.
Blood and Cheese 1, Rhaenys, I haven't done the exact math, but I'm doing 3 videos, and then the next 3 after that are seasons 2, 3, and 4. I'm finally going to because I have an outline, haven't actually done the math of the episodes. But off the top of my head right now, I'd say Blood and Cheese episode 1, Rhaenys around episode 5, 6, Jace dying in episode 8, and Rhaenyra taking the city to end the season.
I think she takes the city in season 3.
Yeah.
I think you have to have, because when I look at how the pace go, to pace the season and everything else, I look at it, roller coaster is. So I think that you have the blood and cheese situation in the beginning. That's a strike down for the Greens. And I think you have to have a rise for the Greens at the end of the season to make it look like they're winning the war. And that's how you get that. That's how you get Rhaenys' death at the end of the season. And then Rhaenyra comes back in season 3, and it looks like she's winning, and then she gets taken out in season 4 at the end. I think it has to be up and down. I think to do it that way, I think that it would be too much. It wouldn't flow properly. And so, Tony, do you mean arcs? Yes, Jess. You're lucky you're good looking. I would say so.
Now, Tony, we have a long-time listener, first-time participant, Allison, texting us here. First of all, love all of your guys' stuff. You're all awesome. Just want to say this is all Allison's fault. She's so peanut butter and jelly. Rhaenyra gets to live her life for the most part, and it's sad because they obviously loved each other. I can't wait to see her descend into madness and loneliness. Rest in peace, Luke.
Jeez, thank you for that. It's pretty mean about
Luke
Allison.
was a douche.
I think it's pretty mean. Thank you for the super chat, Jenna S. We have another one right here from Sydney. Thank you for the super chat, Sydney. The romantic Taylor. Do you think we'll see Alicent be full of regrets at the end? I
think
don't
she's-
know if they show her end when I think that she'll be sad about her whole family dies. She loses everything, and she's got to live with that at the end. So I think that, but I don't know if they show her end. But I think she'll be upset about it from season 3 that she didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that's her arc. Is she's just going to be living a tragedy the entire time. I feel for Alicent. I'm not anti-Alicent, but I'm especially towards the later ends of the seasons. I'm probably going to be not on Team Alicent in terms of winning, but on Team Alicent in terms of like, I see you losing all your children. I see how much pain you're going through, and I feel for you.
She's going to be very pissed off at what Aemon did because you know there's no going back from that.
Because Otto's got to die in season 3. That means.
Oh, that's gonna be that's gonna be really fun.
Because you have to have Rhaenyra take the throne, right?
I would say end of season.
You think it's gonna be the end?
End of season 2. I think. Yeah, I think Shield. Maybe beginning of season 3. I think she takes King's Landing in season 2. The end of season 2, as to when they kill him. Maybe season 3.
And then he killed him in season 3.
Maybe something like that.
See, I just don't know if they can do Aegon being that injured in the middle of the season and Rhaenys being dead. I think that's too big of a moment.
You think so?
They built Rhaenys
there's a lot of big moments.
But I'm saying you built Rhaenys up this whole first season, and then you show her in the armor. You set her up. She says, "I'm going to go to patrol this place myself." She finally gives Rhaenyra the, "I'm on your side. Yes, we're going to do it. We're going to make this happen." To kill her that quick, I think it's just too. I think it's such a big moment that it deserves a season 9-10 ending.
But if you look at Jack Hagar's, that's what I'm getting at, is that there are so many events that happen after that. Like that is a huge event, but that's the beauty of the story, is that we're going to get huge events throughout every season. Like they don't all have to be episode 8, 9, 10 type events. Like we're going to get monstrous events in episodes 4s and 6s and stuff, because there's just way too many other big things that happen after that would need to go into that can't fit into season 3 and then 4.
But the establishment of these characters, I just don't think it's. I don't think it's possible.
Wolf Spear asked
if it is. I just don't think it's possible to kill her that early. I really don't.
We got the question: does Kristen Cole die? Yes, Crispy dies.
So I'll tell you this, Wolf Spear. Kristen Cole's death is extraordinary. He gets into a fight with 10 people and he's taking them out one by one. The 10 turn into 30. Nope. they fill him with arrows. My man wants to go down fighting and they're like, "No, thank you." You're done.
Yeah, and they just take Kristen Cole.
Is it kind of like an Indiana Jones, like where the ninja guys and they just shoot him down? Like
off the top of my head, I vaguely remember Kristen Cole. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to spoil it. You asked, this is a spoiler stream, and you asked the spoilers. My vague memory is that Kristen Cole, he realizes that him and his army is in a losing position, but he calls out for single combat. Let's save everyone's lives. Let's handle this like me and one of your champions, something like that. And they're like, how about no? And then they just shoot him with arrows. He gets hit by 3 arrows. Or something.
If we did it your way, Kingslayer, you might win.
It's actually kind of like that, to be honest.
We do have another message from Jenna. Let's listen to this.
Love Jenna.
I'm so sorry if I'm annoying. I'm just so excited. So when they storm the dragon pit, do you think we'll get the supernatural stuff that they were saying happened in the books, like the warrior rising and cutting off the head of the dragon? I can't remember if it was Cyrax or one of the other ones. But when do you think we'll get the storming of the dragon pit? End of season 3? So excited for the stream.
That's why it's too much in season 4, but it's the whole, you gotta have, if you have her dying, that's why it may, I don't know. She may have died, I don't know, because you gotta have that whole situation. You gotta have the riot go down. You gotta have the shepherd. You gotta have them storm the dragon pits. And you have to have the king's guards men try to go down there. First, you have her son jump on her dragon. Try to fly off. He falls off, right? Because the dragon's not a slave. He gets killed. Then she has her king's guardsmen go down there, try to get his body back, right? They get killed. and then they storm the dragon pit and kill all the dragons in the dragon pit.
Yo, so real quick. So I did the that new book, The Rise of the Dragon. It's basically like an abbreviated version of Fire and Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Take this with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure in Fire and Blood they don't mention Cyrex flying into the dragon pit. So for the most part, it's an abbreviated story, but there's a couple little changes. So in the new book, Rise of the Dragon, it says that Cyrex flies in through the top of the dome where Dreamfire broke it or whatever. Cyrex flies into the dragon pit. Like in my head, Cyrex was always flying outside and killing people. But yeah, Cyrex is actually going to go into the dragon pit according to Rise of the Dragon. That's gnarly. So that was like, to be honest, off the top of my head, that's the only change I remembered from the new book.
You see, and
I think there were like three.
This is why the beast beneath the boards
Mhm.
kind of doesn't work, because you have a dragon
Yeah.
busting through the rocks, but it's the collapse of the dragon pit that kills these dragons. It tries to fly out and can't break through the dome, and then it collapses the roof and kills everybody inside of it. So is that actually going to work? I don't know if that's going to work. Let's go through his super chat real quick. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. With yours, we'll show yours first. It says House of the Dragon trash, but I want to see the Shepherd ride on all of them. And we have another super chat here from a name I've never seen. Was that AV to the seventh power? It says for the North, winter is coming. Winter is coming on them. At the end, Cregan Star is beheading a lot of people when it's all said and done. He's chopping up a lot of people when he gets down there. Thank you so much for this. I truly appreciate it.
Wolf Spear says, I served in the Marines for over 8 years, all in the infantry. Crispy reminds me of a squad leader sergeant I had while serving, just a really bad leader.
He goes out like a G, though. He goes out like a G, like, and the way they do it, it's like they're afraid of him. Like they're scared to face him, so they have to shoot him from afar, like Achilles, kinda. Like they don't want to face him, you know what I mean, one-on-one or anything like that. So they have to shoot him up with arrows and shit.
So Liam Gavsey wrote one of the quotes. I'll tell you the line before it. It's pretty badass. So everyone, major spoilers coming here for Crispy. So Kristen drew his longsword from its scabbard. As you will it. We can begin here, the four of us, one of me against the three of you. Will that be enough to make a fight of it? And then that's when there's the next line. It's like, no songs about how brave you died, Kingmaker. And then all three of them shoot him with arrows. but he's a badass. Like, I'll take on all three of you right here and now. Let's go.
He tried to do it, but they were like, no, thank you.
do you think in like, because you know how sometimes like Jon Snow is not Jon Snow, like he's Hollywood Joe and John in the show. Maybe he'll become that in the books, but he's not that in the books, right? Do you think that they'll sort of give Crispin like a Hollywood type ending, like he's taking on 3-on-1 and he kills some of them or something like that? I guess it depends on who they.
I think it'll be like
Roger Dustin.
Have you seen Rome? Did you watch Rome?
That was 2 seasons, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, I have terrible memory though, but yeah, I did see it. Don't remember it.
If you see the way Brutus died at Rome, I think it'll be like that. I think he'll go out like the way Brutus went out. You know, Brutus tried to go out. You know, he tried to go out like took off his armor, grabbed his sword, and walked in there like he was gonna do something. They were like, "Yo,
I'm dead."
And I think it'll be like that. You know what I mean? It'll be like the blood, what is it, Ray Grassfield, like Brandon Rivers did to his brother.
Exactly, yeah, Damon.
It'll be a situation like that. Kelly Cole, Cole was cooked, and he got all up in his feelings. You know, listen, look, he went out. He went out. I don't think we can say anything bad about it. He tried to figure out a way. He's like, I'll fight all you fuckers. Let's fight. And I was like, no, bang, bang.
That is like in its own way, that's a very satisfying ending. Like, look at the chat. Everyone hates Kristen. So it's like, that is kind of like a satisfying ending for fans.
Speaking of people that everyone hates, how does Otto go out?
But how does Otto get out?
Yeah.
He gets his head chopped off. He's executed
I haven't got to that point yet. So
right, Rhaenyra executes him.
Okay, when she takes the throne after she gets like pricks her finger and
that's the number one motherfucker she takes out is Otto. Otto gets taken out. His daughter gets held prisoner. She doesn't kill her. She holds her like in a room prisoner and stuff. Otto gets he gets beheaded.
Liam
It
asked, "Do
doesn't,
you
it
guys
doesn't
think
say
they'll
who
get-
though. I'd like to know who actually did it. That would be cool.
is it
Yeah.
people say it should be beheaded by Daemon on the show? They'll probably make it Daemon.
They're going to show him his head get chopped off. They won't show the blood and cheese.
It's
They're not gonna
it's
show it.
it's got to be Damon, like you guys said. It's because that rivalry they have.
They'll show it. They'll make it on the show be Daemon no matter what. They don't. However, they have to time jump or put Daemon in the right place at the right time. He'll be the one that chops Otto's head off. And
Yeah, without a doubt. I think they can give that to Damon too.
off
Damon
of
may
his
be the
head.
one.
Someone asked, "Do you think we'll
Because
see?"
he's tried him twice on the bridge.
Mhm.
And
That's true. Yeah.
And he hasn't gotten it done.
He needs
So
that.
the third time will
satisfaction.
be the charge. This is it for you, Otto. Bye.
Do you guys think we'll see Dalton Greyjoy in season 2? Asks Liam.
So this is interesting. I'm afraid to answer, right? So my buddy Milt, the Westerosi Ninja, he's like, he wants to see the Greyjoys so badly. So for people who are listening to spoilers or haven't read the books, long story short is that when this war kicks off, the Greyjoys have a fleet, right? They have a fleet of ships. So technically it's like maybe the Greens would want to side with them. The Greyjoys just start doing their own thing. They're raiding like basically the Lannisters. So they're causing problems for the allies of the Greens. They're causing problems for the Lannisters. And that's pretty much what they do the entire time. But then it's like, does the show need to get into that? I don't know. Like that might just be stuff that's talked about off screen. Like the Lannisters can't get their fleet because their fleet just got burned by the Greyjoys. But will they actually show it? I don't know.
See, I get Greyjoy fans wanting the Greyjoys on this show because the last we saw of them is Euron, and that wasn't a very good way to show Euron. Wasn't a good way to go out on the Greyjoys. So they want to see something with this quality of House of the Dragon be done with the Greyjoys and make them menacing and make them how they actually should feel. But I think it's a little bit of trying to manifest that into existence. But I'm not sure if they have time for Greyjoy stuff in this series. But I don't know.
I don't know.
There's craziness going on in the chat. We got Jackie says Allison tortures herself in the end, and then you got someone else in here saying torturing her by tickling her feet. Who says that? Sam. Let me tell you something about what you're into, Sam.
Sam,
right?
man,
something different than I am.
Sam, we can talk at some point.
Yeah, Phil's into that shit. You know,
no, I'm actually not that into of the many list of freaky stuff. Feet aren't what they don't freak me out, but I'm not like I don't.
I don't know why people get all freaked out by it. I wouldn't be freaked out.
Yeah,
I like butts and like thighs and boobs and face. Like, I don't know. I don't get it, but teach their own.
That's a good list too, Brenja. I'm gonna
right? like legs and butt.
Yeah, that's lower half.
Yeah,
Brenja's the lower half man. I'm a lower half man too.
You can stop at the ankles. You know what I mean? The feet are fine. But
let's say the after dark, so I'm not even going any further.
True.
We'll stop there. Liam,
I was thinking real quick about the Greyjoys. I think it's very important for the show to show representation of all the characters that were in Game of Thrones. So I think that there will be some form of Greyjoys in it. I don't know how. Maybe they just show their banner in the ship, but I think they will represent all the houses that were in Game of Thrones just for the connection of it that they'll show them there. So I think that's how they get in.
And they could do like something like him raiding the Lannisters. That could be a cool 10-minute opening scene to like an episode 5 or episode 6, like something in the middle of the season, just to spice it up. They could have this cool scene where they introduce this new character and give him a long scene where he does some badass stuff. You know what I mean? Over on the Westerlands. And
I guess we will have one Dorne scene where someone asks Dorne for help and they go, "No, we know what happens with dragons. We're staying out of the battle." They'll do something just to cover all their bases. I agree with that, Tony.
Well, I don't know if you'd bring up a like that location, or would they just say off screen that we talked to Dorne? Like in episode 9 of House of the Dragon, they talked about I didn't mention this in my video. It's more of season 2 type stuff, the implications. But it's like they already split up the money. So they took the money and they sent it different places. Then they also mentioned we've got to remove those 3 Kingsguard. And then they also mentioned we've got to talk to Storm's End. So that actually paid off already. But sometimes they say things in small council rooms. You don't actually have to show it happen. They didn't show the money being moved down to Old Town and to Castle Rock and to Iron Beck. You know what I mean? They just talked about it.
Yeah, just get a reference, some lip service. I think it's
they've already talked about Dorne already.
Yeah, they talked about the Martell family,
send letters to them and everything. So you'll get the we've danced with dragons before.
Yeah, we know. We
We're
don't want
not doing that again.
Yeah, we know Vagar's still out there. We don't want to meet. We don't want Vagar to fly back down the
You know,
door.
you they're gonna put that line in there. I guarantee you will hear that line. Dorne has danced with dragons before. We're not doing that shit again.
Well, they dropped they dropped Arion Martell from the show, didn't they? Holy crap.
From
Sorry.
Game of Thrones, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Oh, God.
they dropped, which is stupid.
That's a crime against humanity.
Well, they kind of like grouped her in, gave her stuff to other characters.
Yeah, but they
so the whole thing, I did a video
fucked
about
with
this.
Dorne.
That the actor who was signed up, who played the father, he was signed up for 3 seasons.
Yeah, Dr. Julian Bashir from Deep Space Nine. He was actually pissed.
He had a 3-season contract.
He was pissed. He's talking.
And they paid him off and got rid of him in 1 season. So they were going to do more, but I think when people they seen how shitty it was, they said, we got to drop this shit right now. Yeah. Because you can't have him sitting there and saying, you want to get girl, but you got the bad cookie.
Oh my God. That girl was smoking though.
Oh, she was hot. She can say whatever she wants to. Yeah. Right. Whatever you want, you can say it to me twice. Yeah. All right. I'll listen to it.
You're the most beautiful girl in the world.
The worst part about it was like Arya Hota, even though he only got it's either 2 or 3 chapters, he comes across as like, you're reading these books, you get through hundreds or thousands of pages. All of a sudden, you've got these new point of view chapters from this badass Arya Hota. Like, it just would have been cool to see him live on and see what he could have. Like, imagine him during the long night, like how sick that would be.
He had one of the worst deaths in all of Game of Thrones. He looked all tough, and they just like shot a blow dart in his back, and he dies or something.
No, they stabbed him in the back, right, with a butter knife.
Yeah.
They stabbed him with a butter knife.
I forgot. I knew it was lame.
And because before that, you see him, he goes to Jamie Lannister like,
if
you would have had your regular hand, maybe it would have been a contest. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like maybe it would have been a fight between me and you. Maybe. Yep. Not even that it would have been. Maybe it would have been. Maybe it would have been. And then from that, awesome. You get this guy stabbed in the back with a fucking butter knife. You know what I mean? And he dies and shit like that. It was just, it was just
quick too. He falls quick, like it's a Shakespeare.
Yeah, like one shot. No, like they just cut his jugular and stab in the back. And he's dead. He's done, and it's over. You know what I mean? Like I full disclosure, I've been shot in my back with a bullet, and I ain't dead. You know what I mean? It wasn't a very strong bullet, but I got shot in my back. And I'm here. This dude got hit. And it was over. And that was it. So they did it dirty.
What do you say again, Tony? What do you say?
Oh,
that was it. It was just terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, he really wanted to do more. And he's an excellent actor too. It's a shame because they could have added a lot more of the espionage and the stuff that people liked about the early seasons of Game of Thrones and when they left King's Landing and brought that to Dorne, but they gutted that storyline when they tried to make the Sand Snakes into little like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle mini versions of the Red Viper instead of just fleshing them out like interesting characters. Where they could have. I mean, some of the they were decent actresses. They were just written all stupid too. It's not even the actor's fault. The characters were just written bad.
But if you have them, then you have to have Fagon. If you have Arion, you have to go into that storyline to have them there. You have to bring in Fagon. You have to have them take
and
storms.
They decided
to have
end
her
things.
Go up the storms, and you have to have all that. And they cut all that out by cutting them out
because they wanted to end the race as quickly as possible instead of telling the full story.
Exactly. And that's why I think they did everything.
Don't disgrace the Ninja Turtles like that. Come on, they all had their weapons. They all had their headband colors. They were like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Sand Snakes.
Yeah, they were definitely. Let's go through. So they had to have a C. So they got the Battle of Lakeshore that has to happen, right? Battle of Lakeshore. That happens before Tumbleton. So you got the Battle of Lakeshore. And then you have the Battle of Stony Ridge, and then you have the Battle of Tumbleton. So it's a good chance that they cut some of this stuff out, unfortunately.
do you think they're going to add a lot of filler episodes that are more emotional? Because you figure they have to do at least a couple of episodes in between the battles to flesh out character type stuff, like slow stuff down. Will the pacing be slower next season, Tony, or will keep this frantic pace?
I think it has to go up a notch because
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff that we got was so many time jumps that now it has to be
Bam, bam,
here we
bam,
go.
bam, bam.
Let's go. You know, it's got to go. You know, it's like
Yeah, this is
when Wolf Spear is messing with his woman. You know, like a rabbit. That's what I heard. Wolf Spear. I'm just saying. That's what I heard.
When you do like Game of Thrones is like 1 year per book basically, but this is going to be the next 3 seasons are going to be over the course of 2 years. So it's actually faster paced than Game of Thrones at this point. They got it, and there's just so much to do.
We got a new member, Sam. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Sam,
nice,
for
Sam.
becoming a member. I truly appreciate it 100%. Thank you for joining. We truly appreciate that on Teflon TV. And we'll be back. We'll do more streams about this stuff, and we'll even break down specific situations. You know what I mean, and all that. But yes, we're finally a spoiler stream. Yep, we've been doing spoilers all night long.
Yeah.
All night long. So if you have any questions you want to talk about, 781-990-8509. We'll go for another half an hour. We'll call it an end at 9 o'clock, because we've already been out here for 2 hours. But
no
anything
doubt.
you want to talk about, any predictions of when you think things are going to happen, let us know.
Okay, not a spoiler, but the biggest prediction, I think, without anyone asking, I think the biggest prediction would be, when is this show coming back? Like when in 2024, people say, you know, is early 2024. My co-host of my other podcast, Joe, is excited because they announced that Last of Us is coming out January 15th.
Last of Us and something else. There's 2 shows that are coming out at that particular time.
It's a lot earlier. So do you think when they say 2024, could we see January 2024, or are we talking summer 2024?
Don't get mad at me, Wolf Spear. You can't make jokes about me and get one back. Anyway, let's see.
Do you think early in the year in 2024, or are we talking like summer?
Same time.
Same time.
Summer, spring. It'll be two. I think what they want to set up, they really want to set up 2 shows at least, and have a House of the Dragon year, and then something else from Game of Thrones to follow.
Snow will be the first one, unfortunately. Not unfortunately. I want it to be Dunk and Egg. But
I think that, because you got to figure, we're talking about season 3. That's 6 years. Right, we ain't going to see that for like 6 years.
Will they release anything, A Song of Ice and Fire, in 2023? Will we get a short cartoons, animated thing, or something?
I don't think, no, because nothing's approved yet. I think after the next season, in between seasons, we'll have something, whether it's Snow or Dunk and Egg, we'll have that.
Someone said Snow in 2023. Is there any way we could see Snow in 2023?
It hasn't even been approved yet.
I think the only thing we could theoretically see, and we're not going to see it, is, I mentioned this before on the last stream, something like getting some of the old Game of Thrones actors to read chapters for the books and do some sort of artwork, animated 15-minute thing on that you release just on the app. You know, something like mini Thrones things, and have mini Thrones tales, and have some animators do some quick sketch stuff with Davos doing a voiceover, reading a story about his like you could see something like that maybe in 2023, but I'm reaching. That's just because I want to see that. I don't know that that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, they want to do the sea thing, so I think they want to do it, but I think it'll be Dunk and Egg, and then Jon Snow after that. I think those would be the 2 that you get.
I think Snow comes out before Dunk and Egg, but I do think those are the next 2.
It depends. They could approve that. It's got a fan base. They could really approve that as quick as possible.
Is Dunk and Egg, I keep hearing mixed reports. I know they're working on animation stuff. Is Dunk and Egg supposed to be animated?
I wish it was, but I don't think it's going to be. I think they'll hire actors to do it.
Casting is so important for that one.
Yeah. Well, it's 2 characters. You got to get it right, you know, and that's what it comes down to. You got to get those 2 right. If you get those 2 right, then everything else. They won't drop Jon Snow, Jackie C, because he has an established fan base.
Yeah.
So that's it. They're not going to drop. And they already said that Brianna Tarth and Sam Tarly would appear in it.
That show's happening.
So that means if that's the case, then you would have to have something happening up north where Bran Stark would send his head of the King's Guard up there to find out what's going on. Because now that's the only way it works, because that's what she's doing. That's who she is. So Sam must escort her, go up there, and she probably escorts Sam up there while they try to figure out what's going on. But that's how I would think you bring those two.
Carla Wayne playing the game. Henry Cavill for Dunk. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, y'all want Henry Cavill for anything, whatever it is. He's too short. You have to have somebody tall. Sir Duncan the tall. It'd have to be someone. I don't know if you have an actor.
Yeah, I think it's got to be an unknown actor.
You know who I'm thinking, or not who I'm thinking? I've been speaking offline. Okay, I'm gonna throw her under the bus. So Miss Duncan the tall. He's not that tall, but he's tall. And as long as you're like set up with a kid who's a lot shorter than you, and then the other actors that you oppose, just hire them to be shorter than average people or whatever.
Tom Cruise is 4'9". Yeah.
You could do Skarsgård. Like, he would make a great Duncan because he's just a badass. So the dude from True Blood and Succession the last season, that dude. I just love him as an actor, so I'm down with him. I don't think it'll be him.
Skarsgård
He's way too old to be Dunk, but he would be a cool.
What about that Northman? That guy who played in that Northman movie?
I never saw that. That was good, right?
It wasn't good, but he was good in it. And that guy is huge. I think that he would be because you got to be taller than Brienne. That's the whole thing. You got to be told. The actor has to be taller than Brienne.
So see, Liam Gavsey says Tom Hopper. Tom Hopper is a guy from the Umbrella Academy. He's in something else. Oh, he was actually also the second version of Dickon Tarly. That was Tom Harper.
Oh, the
Hopper.
Dickon. Yeah.
But the thing is, so in the Umbrella Academy, he's so goofy in the way he acts and stuff. Granted, that's the character he's playing now. And I actually had an offline conversation with
in the Northman. They're saying that's Skarsgård.
Oh, that is Skarsgård. Yeah, you're right.
He's a huge. That's a beast of a man right there.
He's like 6'4" or something like that. But he could play a big role, I think. But he's too old for the role. So as far as Tom Hopper, I had like Miss Duncan the Tall, and most of the fandom has always fan casted Tom Hopper, and I actually had a side to her where I said like no, because he's too goofy and too happy, blah blah blah. But now that I think about it, he was the second version of Dickon Tarly, and he showed that he could be a more serious character. Who knows? Maybe Tom Hopper would make it.
I feel like you need a wrestler or something, like a good acting wrestler, like someone really big, like huge.
But he is big. He's like 6'5", but he comes across as pretty big on screen.
Yeah, you got to have him come across as like 7 foot on screen. You just got to have some short people. Well, if you have Kit Harington in there, he's short as hell. I mean, there's just one picture of Kit Harington with Sansa Stark and Brianna Tarth, and it says the more you look at it, the smaller he gets. And it really does. It's the truth. Like he just keeps getting. He's so small. You see him next to those women, and he's so tiny compared to both of them.
So two people in the chat said that Tom Hopper is great in Black Sail. So they're basically speaking to him as having the acting skills to pull off a different role. It's like less. Actually, I mean, Dunk does have a certain quirkiness to him, but he's not the guy from the Umbrella Academy. I'll just say that.
People in the live chat, someone asks Tyson Fury for Dunk, John Cena, the Big Show.
I mean, he's tall enough to do it without a doubt. I don't think he can act.
Tyson, do you like Tyson Fury for this?
It's also like Tyson is just such a great like technical boxer, but he's just not nearly the athlete that Dunk needs to be. You know what I mean? Like as far as like moving around and fighting like on the ground and stuff.
Well, Dunk isn't really a great fighter. He's just big. Like when you see him fight, it's usually his size that when he horses people to the ground.
He's very persistent too. He's got that like edge to him.
He beats in the Mystery Night. He beats Black Tom Heddle with a. He's like, I told you I was better with the sword. So he can fight like with the weapons too. I just can't picture Tyson Fury fighting with a sword.
Beautiful Anna for becoming a member. Truly
Wonderful Anna. House of the Dragon making her a Song of Ice and Fire fan. Someone said we're the Gronk for Dunk.
Gronk wouldn't be. He looks like Dunk to me.
Yeah, I don't know if he could act his way.
No, he can't act, but he looks like what Dunk.
Yeah,
would be.
That's
he has that look.
Physically, Gronk could be Dunk. Yeah, physically.
Without a shadow of a doubt. But all right, let's get back. Let's finish up. Let's get back to this situation, dealing with season 2 and beyond. Again, so we have to have Blood and Cheese, the Battles of Rook's Rest in season 2. Bridge thinks that you also will have the death of Rhaenys early in the season and Rhaenyra taking the throne.
So the Gullet and then
season
Rhaenyra taking the throne.
Huh?
So you have Rhaenys mid-season. A couple episodes later, you have the Battle of the Gullet, where you lose Jace and you lose Vermax, and then you have Rhaenyra take King's Landing.
That's so much, though.
Yeah.
To have
So
the Battle of the Gullet.
But
Tony,
the thing is, there's so much that happens after. It's like you've got
It
to
is,
cram
but
stuff in.
if you, that's so much. That's 4 major things happening.
The whole
there.
season's going to be awesome. That's no problem with that.
It might be the greatest season in television history if they did it that way.
But the same thing is going to be true for seasons 3 and 4. There's just so much action that has to happen in 4 seasons. And
They really
three
need
more
to do
seasons.
5 seasons. They really need. I think that, but 5 seasons would be 10 fucking years. The way they're going, 2 years apiece. That's why
they need to film like 2 seasons back to back at the same time, and then work on the editing of the second one while the first one's airing, so they can have them go year to year. I think the season ends with Rhaenys dying. Like that's episode 9 or 10, and that's the sort of the time frame of the
But then
season.
how do you squeeze in everything else after
I
it
don't,
in 2
oh my
seasons?
God. It's so I mean, I wish I had an answer for you,
Yeah.
but I don't know. You're probably right, Bridge.
Like I see you guys are saying to like you could stretch it out. Like this could be a 7 season long show if you wanted to, but at the end of the day, they're probably going to do it 4, so they've got to pack it.
What did they end season 2? Rhaenyra taking the throne. You're saying?
Yeah. So high level, I think it's like season 1 they were both crowned. I think season 2 will end with Rhaenyra taking King's Landing. Season 3 will end with her losing King's Landing, and then season 4 is going to wrap up everything else, cram it into season 4 after her losing King's Landing. So it'll be like maybe Daemon dies end of season 3 or maybe beginning of season 4. But anyway, everything else in season 4, including like, so you got like Rhaenyra's down. I forget the name of the chapter. It's Rhaenyra's fall, plus Aegon's short reign, plus the Hour of the Wolf. So those 3 chapters into season 4.
She takes the
it's a lot.
throne.
It's a lot.
So quick for. I really think she should take it in season 3 and lose it in season 3. Both things go down at the same time. Like the first half, she's got it, but I can understand why you would say, because if you have it taken in season 2, then you have her getting bleeding on it in season 3, and every time she's in, but then you have to do you got to do Nettles, you got to do both Tumbletons, all in season 3, and then you have to do Daemon.
I think second Tumbleton will be season 4. Yeah.
So you do Nettles, you do.
When you say Nettles, you're referring to Daemon.
I'm saying. You gotta do the Dragon Seed.
Do you think you do
so
Dragon Seeds in
She
season 2?
has to get
That's
a Dragon
season 2.
Seed army.
You think
Right?
Bridge, you think Dragon Seeds is season 2?
That all happens before they go to the Gullet. So they send off. So when after Rhaenys dies, like Corlys is really upset, and Rhaenyra is also really upset for other reasons. So it's like they're both sort of out of the picture, and Jace steps up his game. He's the one who starts making moves. So he sends his little brother off, and then they get attacked. One of them flies back on Stormcloud, and then you have like you've already got like the dragon. Then you have the Dragon Seed scene, and then the Dragon Seeds go out and kick some ass on the Battle of the Gullet. So that happens before she takes King's Landing. So that's why I think that type stuff will be like episode 7, 8. So basically, if you think the way I'm envisioning season 2 is like you start off with Blood and Cheese, like hard hitting episode 1. Then midway through the season, you lose Rhaenys. Then some stuff happens. Dragon Seeds like, all right, now we're getting powerful. Then you lose Jace. So it's like she gets screwed once, and a couple episodes later, she's screwed again. And then it ends with her taking King's Landing. So at least you go down for her, and then it ends up at the end of the season for Rhaenyra.
This is a hell of a season you got.
Yeah, I like this.
It might go down the way you say.
Yeah, you're selling me on this season, Bridge.
This is a hell of a season.
But it would be, like every episode. But think about what we just saw. Like almost every episode had something major. It's crazy.
So we got a couple of voicemails whenever you're ready, Tony.
Yeah, I just don't. It's so expensive to shoot these battles. Will they be able to afford to do it?
I see what you're saying.
That would be the problem. All right, let's go to the voicemail.
The first one is very quick. Let me make sure the volume is up so we can hear this.
Who would you fan cast for Alice Rivers?
We need a fan cast for Alice Rivers.
How about the caller?
And
Alice Rivers is going to be that's
the Full House girl,
the Scarlet Witch, right?
Scarlet Witch, the Full House girl, Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Thank you for getting me there, Bridge, by the Full House girl sister. And
she's their like younger sister or older
yeah,
sister.
their younger sister. There's a funny rap diss video where the Olsen twins are like going, "You're stupid, when they were babies." I'll play it on a stream. I don't want to flag Tony's stream, otherwise I'd find it. This is area code 931.
Hey, this is Melissa from Nashville, Tennessee. Just a quick question.
Can't hear
it
it.
seems a lot like those babies aren't Aegon's. They are actually Aemon's with Helena. And I think that's going to make Blood and Cheese a lot more impactful. And if you
guys can't hear it, she says she thinks. Okay, you guys can hear it. Okay.
When they were dancing at the Last Supper, Aegon immediately looked to Aemon as if he knew, hey, that dude's scamming on your chick. So I think that Aegon knows that Aemon is the father. What do y'all think?
So Maury, Maury Teflon, do you think is Aemon the father?
He's not the father. I don't think so. I think that, especially when you deal with the books, that he has a kid with the Rivers in Harrenhal, and that's his kid. I think that's the way. That's why that's so impactful.
Plus, they've already established, at least in the show timeline, that like when he's walking around with Kristen Cole, like Aegon took him to a brothel when he was 13 or whatever. But he's like, that life's not for me. Like they consider themselves men of better virtue and stuff. Like, he's not gonna like. He seems like that would be against his code is to sleep with someone else's wife, let alone someone he's not married to. It's just
his
there's no
brother's
chance.
wife at that.
Exactly,
You know
there's no chance.
Because even though he wants to be king, you still see him grab his brother up and be like, "Listen, you're gonna do what you gotta fucking do.
Exactly,
it should be me, but fucking you're gonna do it."
Yep.
Yeah,
that
would be the only reason why I would go against that.
Urban Homestead says, I say he is the father. That's what makes it son for son.
It's son for son because it's Aegon's kid.
Exactly. Rhaenyra and Aegon.
Yeah, that's the son for son. See, those are the two that are beefing. It's Rhaenyra versus Aegon. Aegon, you killed my son with your people. Now I'm going to kill your son. Yeah. But I understand you want to say that Aemon killed his son, so now they're going to kill Aemon's son. I understand why you're saying it, but I just don't think the character that they established of him would do that.
Yeah, not it's Bridge was saying it in the scene with Kristen Cole, at least in what we've seen, he's more follows the rules. He studies the history. He cares. He thinks I would be a better king because I'm just a better man. Even in the way that the situation went down with Luke. Yeah, he was fucking with him, but he seems to in the moment be like to take the gravity of what it means that he just killed his family. So I think this guy isn't gonna do that to his brother.
Just like real quick saying Helena having kids wasn't willingly.
You
say wasn't willingly. I disagree. I think that she did. I think did she know he was going to blow it in her? Probably not, but he did it. But did he rape her? No, I don't think he did. Because you could see her when she's in the dance. She goes, being married's not that bad. You know, they mostly ignore you only when he's drunk. You know, saying that when he's drunk, he comes in and he wants something from me. Besides that, he doesn't bother me at all. You know
I kind of side with that. Like the fact that these people are forced into marriages that they shouldn't be in, it is in certain situations, it's rape. Like with Robert and Cersei, like she tried to not have sex with him as much as possible. She would just go down on him. Like they're forcing these marriages. Like I don't think Helena wants to have sex with Aegon.
That's a different situation when you deal with Robert, because Robert physically grabbed her up and hurt her purposely because she wasn't Lyanna. This didn't happen.
I hear you.
Situation like those, he's raping chicks like the girls who are coming in the room and cleaning the room. Those people, but I don't think he's raping his sister. I think his wife. I don't think he's raping her. I think that he's there. He comes in drunk. She leans over. She takes it the same way I would say that her mother was taking it from Viserys, but probably a little bit more enjoyable for her. because she seemed pretty happy at the dance. I mean, at the Last Supper, she didn't seem like a rape victim. She seemed like, oh, it's not bad being married. He only bothers you once in a while when he's drunk. That's it. It just seemed like something situation like that.
Yeah, I still think it can be considered a form of rape, but there are like, let's say, different levels of it. Like someone like Mad King Ares and his wife Rayla, I think he was raping her, definitely raping her. And then someone like you said, Viserys and Alicent, like we saw that scene where Alicent was laying back. She was not into that at all. To me, it was a form of rape, but it wasn't as bad as Mad King Ares.
Yeah, but she went into the room.
Yeah.
She was asked to go, and she didn't want to go, but she went and did her duty. So doing your duty, and I think it's a do your duty situation more than that.
But it's one of those things where they live in a world where they don't have the same rights that we have. Like the king asked her to come to the room. She's sort of got to go there.
I mean, she said it's late right now. I don't want to, but the king wants you. I think this is her duty at that particular time, and that's just what it is.
But going back to your point, I see what you're saying. Like when she talked about it, she sort of like made it like jokingly, like, well, it's not that bad. So yeah, I guess you could read into it that she's not like completely against it.
Yeah, I don't think she was like he's just grabbing her and saying you're gonna, it's no situation like that.
Yeah,
I don't think it was any situation like that or anything else and stuff. I think it is what it is. But no, we're gonna come back. We're gonna do another spoiler stream. We're gonna break it down some more because now Bridge is giving me a lot to think about, and I gotta really reassess my whole situation of everything else. Go through all these things that are gonna happen and see if it's plausible that they could do it. I'm gonna try to break it down per episode, how they could do it per episode, because I guess a lot of these events are just going to take place in one episode. They do it that way. It's not, to me, it's more stretched out, but I guess maybe it's going to be one episode here, one episode there, one episode this, then that, and everything else. But to kill Jace and Rhaenys in the same season is a lot. That's going to be a big season.
And Jaehaerys, the little guy at the beginning.
This would be a big season. This would be would be a whole situation. It would be a whole crazy situation.
Who knows? Maybe even Otto. Boom.
No. If she takes it, you got to wait. I mean, if it ends, if it ends like that with her taking the throne, I think what you see is her cutting herself on the throne when it's all said.
That's a good call.
Yeah, you just see the blood come from her hand like it was her father.
Yeah,
and then it ends just like she sits down, she puts her hand on the throne, you see the blood come from her hand, and then ends like that.
I can see that. 100%.
That's how they would probably do it if they were going to do it like that. If they ended on her taking the throne. But I could see them ending on Rhaenys' death. I really can see that being the whole end. Rhaenys dies, and that's it. They have shifted some things around already. We've seen that again with when we're dealing with Daemon. They had him here in Dragonstone when he had already left to Harrenhal. So they have moved things around, so they could move a lot of stuff around and everything else. So we don't know exactly how it's going to be and everything else. But blood and cheese is not happening in episode 1. I guarantee you that. That will not be the first thing we see.
Phil, you're muted. Phil, you're muted.
If they come back and see, it depends what they're trying to do. Like I'm so on board going into this stream thinking that they end the season with Rhaenys, but like you, Tony, Bridge has me thinking now, if they want to keep the same sort of level of intensity that they brought in this first season where every episode was another explosion kind of episode, and they want to bring that into season 2 and up that game, I could see them doing a season like Bridge is talking about, just where every episode, every single one is another big crazy blow, and you
gotta have time to catch your breath though.
I mean, some shows
you have to. I mean, you can't do that. You have to have time to catch your breath.
Do they?
You do. That's the way it's written.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree.
You can't just have everything just happen in one episode. Blood and cheese, this one. You gotta have time to digest what the fuck just happened and be like, oh my God, what the fuck did I just see? You know what I mean? But Bridge is saying that blood and cheese is not going to be a major event. That's why he's saying, oh, it's just going to be this water under the bridge. I don't see it being no pun
Water
intended.
under the bridge for.
I don't think I don't think it's
Sorry,
going to be there. I think it's going to be a huge event that people are going to talk about. That it's a water cooler moment.
Well, I think it'll be a water cooler moment on episode 1. Because that's the way, like, that you kick off the season, people are like, oh, because like we all know about it, right? But people that don't know about this, they're gonna be like, what the hell just happened? The show's crazy.
They killed a kid.
Yeah, it is. I don't think they'll show it. I think they'll allude to it, and you'll know it happened, but they won't show the actual.
You'll show Allison and Helena's face. They'll be focusing on their faces when you do it, and
It could be a Theon Sansa rape situation where they focus on Theon just going.
Alfie, Alfie, that's pretty good, but could you do that a little bit more terror in your face, Alfie? A little bit more terror. Better. That's better. Keep it up. Keep it up.
But he kept looking. This is the whole thing about that Theon scene. He was so destroyed by it, but he didn't close his eyes and turn away. Oh, he just not look though. He was still watching. He was like, oh. Is that nice? Oh, my God.
And then his hand went. Oh, it was bad.
This show is brutal though.
They started pulling the Lawrence on himself.
He started poking his gash.
In the last episode we saw a baby fall onto its head. Like I couldn't even watch that. It was just, that's why the whole dragon scale thing. I was like, I never really even stopped in the frame to analyze it for my video because I'm like, I just can't do it. This scene's too much for me. That baby dropped on its head. That was so gross.
Oh, she pulled it out by the head and dropped it on the head. She reached up her own.
Did she? I thought she was just like,
no, you see her head.
She grabbed it and spiked it like T.O.
right
on the star. Yeah,
and then pulls the baby out herself. That's why they're like, let us help you. And she just says, I'm going to grab this motherfucker myself. And she pulls the baby out and drops it down.
Yeah. She's crazy. Like early in the season, she gave birth and then right away carries it upstairs to Allison. Like, Rhaenyra is a boss. She really is. I think I'm going to grow to hate her eventually, but right now I love her. She's so cool.
That's why I think it'll be very hard, no pun intended, for her to kill her in season 3, I guess, and have a whole. If her and Daemon die in season 3, no one's going to watch season 4.
No, I think she's season 4 for sure. Daemon, I'm iffy.
They have to just do it all in season 4.
Her and Alicent both survived as far into the show as possible as the two main stars. Even if you drop Daemon eventually and kill him at the end of season 3, Alicent and Rhaenyra last ultimately till the almost.
Alicent doesn't have a major part though. Once she gets locked,
they're gonna write stuff for her. She's gonna. They'll keep her in the story as long as possible too.
Yeah, they may just write stuff for her.
But there are characters like someone like Adam of Hull. Who knows? He might come on screen and just become a fan favorite. Like there are characters we haven't seen yet that may become fan favorites that can sort of pick up that mantle as other people die off. Like Baela.
That they're gonna have Rhaenyra get eaten by a dragon when it's all said and done.
Oh hell yeah, they've got to. Yeah,
they gotta do it right. They're gonna have her cut her breast. You think they're gonna do that? The breast?
I don't know. I don't know how detailed they'll go into it. I can't. There's something I want to say, but I can't because it's in an upcoming video, so I'm not gonna say it. Which
is crazy to me. Like, what did the breast cut do? To saying that the dragon was so hungry that smelling blood makes you have to eat? Because we've seen no bloodlust from these dragons ever before.
Potentially. So I had actually forgotten about that until you mentioned it. But yeah, it's kind of pulling off like that whole shark thing of like sniffing blood. Mm-hmm. One time that's been alluded to wasn't really in the show, but it's in the books. It's like, okay, when Drogon showed up to the dragon pit, did he show up because he heard a boar? Did he show up because things were bloody there? Or it was because him and Dany had a dragon bond? I sort of leaned towards the latter, but in theory, like maybe dragons smell blood. So, but then again, we're reading a book by a maester, so he's probably just an ignorant maester, and that's the way he interpreted it. Like,
I mean, I don't know if they've got vulture senses. Like vulture can smell a body from like 15 miles away. Yeah. Turkey vulture, right? And smell it and track it right down. You know what I mean? I don't know if these dragons have blood sense. Yeah. Like where if you just slit her breast, the dragon has no choice but to eat her because of that slice.
So
and not eat anybody else there. Everyone else doesn't eat, but because she's got some blood dripping from her, I'm gonna eat you.
So dragons can, like Balerion, live to like 212 years old or something like that. They can live like hundreds of years. They can breathe fire, but sniffing blood. It's too much.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. The sniffing of blood is too much for me. I don't think
This
that's
is the
enough.
this is the line. This is the line.
I don't think it's enough. The one little cut.
Yeah, I hear you.
What if he fucked up and cut his own finger? Is the dragon gonna eat his ass?
Well, actually, you make a good point now that you bring it up. Because what about like when he gets like hurt and he's injured and burnt and stuff like that? I guess he has a bond with the dragon, so it's not going to turn on him. But
the dragon's hungry. If you're hungry, right? I mean, this is not fucking Hannibal with these fucking pigs, right? Who are starving all of a sudden, or could you say, bringing it to a Game of Thrones situation, is it a Ramsay situation where these dogs are left starving and they're loyal to him, but Sansa says, "Oh, you starved them. You said it yourself. Now they're just hungry and they eat him." But if they show Ramsay eaten by a dog, they're going to show Rhaenyra get eaten by a dragon without a shadow of a doubt. That's going to be a very sad day for people.
Oh, Jenna. Jenna asks the obvious question. Oh, no, Jenna. Oh, gosh.
What is she asking?
How do the ladies ride the dragons during their periods if that was the situation?
Exactly, Jenna. You're correct. How do they do that? What do they have? They don't have tampons back there. What are they using? Hay and shit? I don't understand it. There's something going on. So I don't know. She definitely will get eaten. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I think that we haven't really seen anyone of importance eaten by a dragon yet, so it'll be the first one. But damn, that's gonna be so sad for people when they see her die.
Luke, right? I thought he just like fell off the dragon, but you made a good point in the last stream. We didn't see his body, so Luke might have gotten.
No, he's in the tummy, like Pinocchio.
No, yeah, he's definitely got swallowed. He definitely got swallowed. There's no doubt about it.
Didn't Danny, at least in the show, Danny fed a one of the slave masters to her dragons.
Carl Funk says it's going to be a cloth. Right? I said, hey, I'm sorry, I did say hey, but yes, I guess they use some type of cloth. Some super absorbent cloth.
Rags, Tony. Rags. I could just hear that in her. Rags, Tony. Rags.
I don't know what they use it back then. Goddamn it! Who knows?
Not hay. Not
it could
hay.
be some hay. It could be hay. Hey, people wipe their ass with hay back then. What they used to wipe their ass was hay. Go watch The Black Knight. I learned that from Martin Lawrence.
I use the 3 seashells.
All right. All right, well, let's get up out of here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll come back here. Maybe next week we'll come back and do some more spoiler stream, and we'll try to focus it to a whole situation instead of just going all over the place. We got one more super chat before we go from Jenna S. Let's show this one real quick before we get up out of here. It says Sunfire was really wounded and couldn't feed himself at the time. Maybe he was conditioned to eat what he smells or blood, or maybe just to humiliate Rhaenyra further to cut her. You know, they were just bringing Sunfire like sheep and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it was laying down there and feeding her and everything.
Yeah, they left
like
a few guards there to feed him sheep, and I guess when people did try to attack him, he could sort of hover a little bit and was still kind of squirrely and able to fight a little,
like a chicken.
Yeah, I was like,
oh. Like a turkey. But he dies right after he kills her, right?
Well, there's the Moon Dancer thing.
Yeah, so he's
so
out of there.
Bela escapes, gets on Moon Dancer, and then attacks him.
And then takes him right out. So he's got to go out, and that's it.
I think he lives a little after that and dies not long after. It's sort of real quick. It's a nod to A Dance of Dragons, the prologue, when you talk about the abominations of warging. I know I said in the last stream, I chose my words poorly, but I do think there are similarities between warging and dragon bonding, and it's sort of like the fact that you have this dragon bond, this partial spirit swap. I like to call it a soul swap. Aegon eating or having his dragon eat Rhaenyra, that's an abomination, because that's not just a dragon eating Rhaenyra. It's sort of her brother eating her. It's just it's bad news all around. Not cool.
Yeah, well, Aegon's the type of guy who would eat his sister. We know that for fact, right? So Aegon, we're talking about Aegon dying of poisoning. Do you think that how it ends for him? That he will be poisoned? Do you think that it would be? Do you think that would be known who is actually doing the poisoning. You think we'll get the chance to see, like, it won't be a mystery like it is in the books?
Well, it's sort of proven in the books because like ultimately that's sort of it all sort of comes out in the Hour of the Wolf. And it's very, at least we don't know what happened in the books because it's written by Maester, but it's implied that like when Clubfoot went to Corlys, he's like, wait, just wait a second. Like, we'll take care of him in a little bit when the time is right. So like we know who did it. It's Larry's. Larry's did it. But
and he gets killed too and gets his foot chopped off.
Yeah.
And he gets to lick his own foot for the rest of his life. But we'll come back and we'll talk. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get a chance to talk about. We'll come back. We'll do another stream. We'll talk more spoilers and everything. Thank everyone. And what up to Khaleesi Clues? I seen you just join at the end. Love you, Khaleesi Clues. If you like the words, and thank you for the super chat, Jenna. Thank you so much. It was great to spend the night with you. Spend this night with you. It's what if. All right, we'll leave it. If you enjoy how we do it, sweet thumbs up, the spreaders across the row, and as always, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace